Rob Van Dam. Listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
It's Saturday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for some True Heel Heat. It's happy Summerslam Day. We got a lot to discuss. Triple H is now the head of creative. Vince McMahon's in even more trouble. Predictions for the big show tonight, SummerSlam, as well as tomorrow's Ric Flair's last match. And we got two special guests, Rick Ucchino of Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast and the wrestling legend himself, Dutch Mantell. Let's get to it. Hello. It is me, the new Media Forbidden Door SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for True Hill Heat 186, a whole new world. We are here to discuss the latest wrestling news, including Triple H being named head of creative, Vince McMahon's unrecorded expenses related to his Hush Pack agreement, recap of the week in wrestling with ROH Death Before Dishonor, AEW, WWE, Impact Wrestling, preview and predictions for this weekend's huge shows, plus much more. I am here with the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Luv.
Good morning, everybody. Happy SummerSlam Day. It's so weird to say that on a Saturday. But hey, good morning. I hope everyone is well. I'm ready to get into all of this shit that Vince has done. So let's do it.
And we have two big, huge guests for SummerSlam Day. First up, we have the man behind the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. You see over on Sportskeeda Wrestling, one of the co-hosts of Smack Talk and one of the voices of Cincinnati radio, doing baseball coverage, radio shows galore. This man's in Nashville, Tennessee right now. He is Rick Ucchino.
Hey, where's Mr. Tennessee? Where's Mr. Tennessee Titans gear? Like, shouldn't he be here? Like, right now, we're in Nashville. Like, what's going on? Shouldn't he be breaking down my door right now because of what my Bengals did to him in the playoffs last year? But yeah, no, I am.
He's at work. We gotta call him to get a special appearance in here.
Oh yes, no, but it's been a blast so far here in Nashville. I'm gonna try to stay a little quieter than normal because I'm in my Airbnb right now. But lots to get into today. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we had to bring in the big guns for the big show. I had a question being asked to us over on Smack Talk on Sportskeeda Wrestling. It was like, when is he gonna be back on the show? It's been almost a year since we had him on the show back. I believe this was last October, but he has returned. He is a wrestling legend, in the ring manager, behind the scenes, one of the creative minds in Impact Wrestling. You've seen him in WWE in numerous different runs. The man behind We the People, Dirty Dutch Mantell.
Uncle Dutch, yay!
Good morning.
Good
morning, everybody. So, hey, Rick, I saw a tweet you did the other day, and you talked about the humidity in Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's a killer. It will kick your butt. I spent a lot of time in that town. I lived here for many, many years. I lived in Nashville, and I love Nashville. So, and thank you for the great introduction, Mr. Sid. Wasn't as good as Rick's, but I'll let you know this time because I guess Rick pays you behind. Said, hey, here's $20. He said, thanks for that great introduction. But hey, I'm. Let me start off by saying I didn't pick up the paper. I turned on my computer this morning, and I told you this earlier today, Sid. The super lottery, whatever that's called, was won.
Mega Millions?
Oh yeah, the Mega Millions. Yeah, somebody won in Illinois.
Somebody won in Illinois. $1.28 billion.
That was my meal ticket.
Oh my
Dang.
God. So
Wasn't
anyway,
me. I would have been here. I wouldn't be here right now.
but
Hello, we'd be on a plane somewhere.
and we,
Right,
and,
right.
and we will
I'm out.
we will probably never find out who that person is.
Hell no. Their life would be ruined forever.
No kidding. If I'd have won it, I said, just keep my name secret. Just give me the money and let me go. Let me
go.
take.
Yep.
Well, some states say you have to disclose it publicly. So it all depends on where you live.
I deny it. Hey, what, do you think I'd be living in this dump?
I would submit my name, false name, and be like, I am Dutch Mantell, 2 L's.
Two L's, right.
Yeah. And you can find me here. So
I live in somewhere in Florida.
yeah. Unbeknownst to even myself, I can't even release my own address. So, but let's get talking, Mr. Sid. Let's talk about Mr. Vince and Mr. Triple H. So you can lead us off that way.
Yes, of course. If you're watching with us now, we appreciate you joining us live. Remember to show your appreciation back by dropping the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We got a full SummerSlam weekend coming up. We had yesterday's preview show. We got the watch along tonight, tomorrow, the roundtable review. And of course, if you're with us in the live chat, let us know what you think about all the latest wrestling news. And of course, your super chat donations are very important. We are a self-funded channel, so the best way to show your support is with a super chat donation to have it highlighted on screen. Or try to go to as many of your comments as possible, like CM, who says, good way to start the morning. We got Annika with We the People. Noob is saying, good morning, Uncle Dutch. You're Uncle Dutch here on True Hill Heat, if you forgot. If you forgot, Dutch.
Why am I Uncle Dutch? I was Uncle Zeb.
You're Uncle Dutch here. You're our uncle. You're my
uncle. You're our uncle. Yeah.
Okay. All right, kids, straighten up.
He's like, whatever. Right. He's like, okay, sure.
Quit acting stupid. Sit up.
Right.
Don't embarrass me. Rick's embarrassment enough. Hey, is Rick family?
Rick is family. He's the Cincinnati cousin.
There's always
got Cincinnati cousin.
Always got to be one black sheep. That's you, Rick.
Look, if there's one thing I've noticed after living there for 34 years, there's always a connection to Ohio. There's always a connection. Somebody's always from Ohio, or somebody always knows somebody from Ohio. So, every family needs an Ohioan in it.
Absolutely, very true. And we want to shout out everyone who's supporting us on social media, our True Hill Roll Call, our top 3 conversation starters over on our Facebook page, Stewie Palmer, Giovanni Cruz, and number 1, the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. Our Patreon backers is also Nick Jackson, Vala B, Alan Weinstein, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Austin K, Slam and Sammy Joe, You My Boy Blue, Yachty, Robert, Steve, Antoine, 5th Generation Carney, Beat Boop, DJ Eric, Ladarius, John, aka WrestleScopes, Dan Snide, Kobe, and Toy Morgan. Those last 2 are our newest Patreon backers. So thank you so much for supporting us at patreon.com/True Hill Heat. But let's get to that news that Dutch was talking about. First up, we got Triple H taking over as head of creative for WWE. As we discussed last week, Vince McMahon announced his retirement from WWE, and it was later revealed that Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan would be the new co-CEOs. WWE has issued a press release confirming the news and announcing another major change. This was on Monday. The company said that Triple H, in addition to being the EVP of Talent Relations, will now take over all responsibilities related to WWE's creative. Fightful Select had more details on the situation, including the status of Bruce Prichard. Prichard had been working in both creative and as the head of Talent Relations before Triple H assumed both roles. After the announcement on Friday, Prichard and Ed Koskey were the ones in charge of SmackDown direction last Friday night. Producers were told at the time, however, that Triple H was the finish guy. After Monday's news, Prichard is still with the company and will still work in creative. Those higher up in the company were also told that Vince McMahon would at least be available in some form as he is transitioning away from WWE. Talent were said to be excited with Monday's news, as there was concern when Prichard was involved with both talent relations and creative. One of the reasons was that Talent was concerned about asking someone who was in charge of creative for time off if they needed, although Triple H is kind of the same thing. Meanwhile, people at the USA Network said Monday's news is an exciting change. Triple H held a meeting with Talent before Monday night's Raw in Madison Square Garden, according to Fightful Select. According to the report, Triple H led the meeting and told Talent that there would be a level of transparency moving forward that some felt didn't exist previously, and wants to keep communication lines open between Talent and himself. He also said that he wants work to be quote unquote fun. The general consensus out of the meeting was a positive one, and the meeting went very well. WWE has been criticized by Talent, usually former, in recent years for the difficulty in getting a meeting with Vince McMahon, with some saying they had to wait hours for FaceTime. In addition, PW Insider reports that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were backstage for seeing Raw, while Vince McMahon was not backstage, and neither was Shane McMahon. According to Dave Meltzer on Tuesday's Wrestling Observer Radio, the last Monday's Raw is likely not the best episode to judge based on the newly announced changes at the top of the company. Per Meltzer, most of Monday's show was written by Vince McMahon before he left and retired. Additionally, the show was largely written by Thursday, July 21st, and it appears very little was changed by Monday before the live USA Network broadcast hit the air. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that now that Triple H is the new head of creative in WWE, there are some who believe that NXT will revert back to what it was in his previous vision. Triple H was responsible for the black and gold era of NXT, which had the names like Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Samoa Joe and others as its top stars, and it's believed that while WWE will still heavily recruit athletes, something that Triple H has been involved in over the last year, they will be more open to using more experienced wrestlers as well. Going forward, it's likely that wrestlers who are smaller and aren't as good looking as McMahon wanted could be considered. However, that likely won't apply to the entire WWE. Triple H has said that NXT was catered to a specific audience and the main roster was different, going for a wider audience. While his vision on how to do that would be different from McMahon, he was still at McMahon's side for years and likely influenced by him when it comes to creative. In regards to Sasha Banks and Naomi possibly returning to WWE now that there has been a change in the guard, a new report from Dave Meltzer on Sports Illustrated Media podcast notes that the company is hoping to mend fences, particularly now that Vince McMahon has exited the company. And during the SummerSlam media scrum that Rick was a part of, Triple H talked with Wrestling Inc. and John Alba of Ad Free Shows about how his vision for WWE will change from Vince McMahon's vision. And he said, on how his vision will change from Vince McMahon's, you got to watch the show. You got to watch the show. This isn't the longest running stuff on TV. We say it all the time. Raw, SmackDown, SummerSlam, everything we're doing, there are massive pair of shoes to fill that I'm trying in some way to step into, but I do not dream for 1 second that I can fill those shoes by myself. It's going to take a lot of us. It's going to take a team. It's going to take everybody here to fill those shoes and continue on, but we will. So, Dutch, what was your initial reaction to Triple H being named head of creative, and were you surprised that it happened this soon?
I think this is the way the business used to work, because when a territory went down, you changed the booker. Any business works like that. And I think by putting him back in there, I think a lot of things are going to change for the better, because I think, and you mentioned that people would wait for a meeting with Vince and never could get it. Hell, I'm still waiting for one. I mean, I was there the night CM Punk quit, and wait, never did see him that night. And I did see him. I think I had one meeting with him because he was just hard to talk to. He either didn't feel good He didn't want to take the meeting. I think that would change. I think Triple H will bring a new dynamic to the table. I think people won't be so scared to pitch an idea at him. And I think he'll make a big difference. And I do like that he's going to put actual people with wrestling experience on creative.
Yeah.
Because before, Vince didn't want them. He wanted writers, which I never understood. I mean, if you're writing about something, shouldn't you have experience in what you're writing about? I never understood that reasoning. But I do like what he's doing now, and I do think we'll see a fresher and a better product going forward.
What about you, Rick? Are you happy about this news with Triple H becoming head of creative? And what do you foresee as the biggest change that Triple H will implement now that he's in power?
I am more optimistic about the future of WWE creative than I have been in quite some time, because we all knew under Vince it wasn't going to change. It was going to be his vision, whatever, blinders on, not paying attention to the outside world. Hell, Dutch, you talk about getting a meeting with him. He probably still thinks you work there. Like, to be completely honest, I mean, we had reports like he would forget talents' names and matches that he had booked like 3 weeks ago, and that's why we kept getting constant rematches every week. So I think now that you have somebody like Triple H in there who is a little bit more open, right? That was the big takeaway I took from that media scrum yesterday. Is everybody will focus on the Nick Hausen question with him kind of dodging what will change, but I loved the John Alba question when he asked him specifically about Paul Heyman helping out with WWE creative, and his response was, look, I will take ideas from anybody and everybody. I want everybody to talk to this. This has got to be a collaborative effort if we are going to fill the shoes of Vince McMahon. So he's going to be open to Dutch's point. He's going to listen to pitches. Ultimately, he's going to make the final call, but I do think that is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to change is that Triple H will listen, and if they like their idea, they'll run with it. The other thing that I think is going to change is not having to completely reinvent yourself from going from NXT up to the main roster, right? We're not going to get Pete Dunn, badass, like total technician wrestler in NXT, gets himself over. Now all of a sudden he's Scrappy-Doo running around with a dumbass hat trying to help Sheamus every other week. Like, I think, we're going to get some more continuity from NXT up onto the main roster, and I think you're going to start to see some guys from NXT who are still there who are going to be pushed, maybe not pushed, but they're going to be booked a heck of a lot better than what they have been so far.
Great words.
What about you, Krssi? You coined the phrase "Bon voyage, Vince" last week after his retirement. What do you think, or when do you think, or how long do you think Kevin Dunn and Bruce Prichard will stay with WWE now that Vince has departed? Dutch, you had to add something?
No, I let Krssi answer first, and then I got something to add to that.
Krssi, so how long do you think we're going to see these two kind of Vince McMahon guys still with WWE?
I don't think very long. I feel like they're going to have to be like pushed out because they know more about like why Vince is gone too. I think they know more than what what's been let on. So with that being said, I don't feel like they'll be there very much longer. You got to take it a little. It can't happen overnight. But they'll be eased out little by little. They'll probably like resign or, say, let me leave, things like that, because they're not going to be, they're always been his guy. So they're going to be doing things kind of their way, but they're not going to be wanting to change or make, decisions like how the vision of Triple H and them are seeing it. So I think that they'll be out of here pretty soon.
Did you see Triple H when he did the Steve Austin show?
Yeah, back in 2015.
Yeah,
I think he just did it.
No, it was an old clip. It was an old clip. That's
he doesn't like Kevin Dunn because I think Kevin Dunn has shut him down a couple of times, and
so there we go.
And those old wounds don't heal overnight. And Kevin Dunn, I don't think he's very well liked by Triple H or Stephanie. I don't think, that's what I'm hearing. And I think Bruce he has an abrasive demeanor about him anyway, if you don't know him. And I think Bruce will be just pushed out. I think Kevin Dunn, like Krssi said, I think he'll just retire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't need it anymore. I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
And they were Vince's handpicked guys. So anybody that's handpicked by Vince is going to be, let's push them out, because that's the last thing they want there. Because, and Vince will be calling his old buddy, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to be party to that, so they'll let them go.
Right.
Yeah. It's the best way to kind of do it in a graceful manner, because we'll talk about Vince McMahon, what really happened, not retirement, as they say. But we do have a comment here from one of our co-hosts, Top Guy JJ. I did see him in the backstage area, but I didn't want this show to get completely off the rails before we heard from Dutch and Rick to start things off. But he says, I heard slander. Rick, you lucky son of a bitch that I have to work. I was backstage twice. Your coward guards held me back. You're not a Bengals fan, so stop. Bandwagon fans do not count.
Dude, I watched every game that was still televised, by the way, because there was the blackout rule in the 90s when they were the worst team in professional football. All right, I date back to the Jeff Blake days, the Kajana Carter days. Don't call me a bandwagon fan. Kiss my ass. I am Cincinnati Bengals, orange and black, through and through. I have suffered through 3 decades of this horse shit that we call a professional football team, and now they're good. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin to you for calling me a bandwagon fan. We can continue now.
Don't have to get hot about it.
Whoa!
Yes, wow, we are, and you talk about JJ bringing it off the rails. Look at this. Whoa,
I had to respond appropriately to that. I'm sorry.
He's so professional on Sportskeeda, right, Dutch? And then he's so professional on Bleav, and now we bring him on True Hill Heat.
Yeah, he minds his P's and Q's over there, and he gets over here and cuts loose. Like he's had about six cold ones, and he's sitting edge of the bar. F you. And, yeah, I don't even know you, but F you too.
I feel like I need a couple of beers right now. Anyway, so.
You should have one, friend.
Best comment so far from Romeo here. I'm gonna try to not be loud in my Airbnb. Lasted 20 minutes.
I would like
my second time talking.
I'd like to see that door open right now, and the owners come in. Said, "Hey, you need to go. Making too much noise." But I was just doing a podcast. We don't give a shit. Get out.
I sent him a warning. I said I'd try to be quieter. I said I'd try.
I love it. Yes, we got CM saying so. Rick versus JJ on True Hill Sports. Yeah, we're gonna invite Rick over to the second channel so he can really talk about Bengals versus Titans over there.
Rick, when you leave in Nashville?
Sunday afternoon.
You're not going to the Ric Flair's last match?
I got a day job I got to get back for.
What the hell?
His priorities is all messed up, Dutch. His priorities is all messed up. And to answer
international, it really is. This is the restart, the reboot of WWE. Ric Flair's last match. So, how many shows did they have around Nashville?
They had Black Label Pro and GCW last night. They also had the Ric Flair roast was last night. Sessions with Bryan Danielson is today. I think they have another stage show with Johnny Gargano, with Matt Hardy, with Claudio Castagnoli on Chris Van Vliet. So it's a bunch of stage shows, but like wrestling shows.
Saray's going to be there. Yeah.
Yes, Ray's stage show. So yeah, it's a bunch of stuff.
Baker did a show too, right?
Yes, he did his one-man show last night.
Where did he do that at? Downtown?
It was at the Wild Horse Saloon.
Yep, that's where it was.
That makes sense.
He knows those guys. He used to live in Nashville too.
That's where they did the tryout yesterday. It was actually a really, really cool scene.
Really?
Well, we got Sean Gardner asking us, are you guys doing SummerSlam predictions? Yes, the end of the show, we're going to cap things off with SummerSlam predictions. And as well, since Dutch is very excited about it, we're also going to talk about Ric Flair's last match and do predictions for that as well. We also got a super chat donation here from Chase Oliver. Thank you so much, Chase Oliver. You're a lucky man. He won the sweepstakes for Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. He said he's been selling solars in California, so he wanted to send Rick some money. So he sent us a super chat donation here.
Jesus, did he, by the way? Holy shit.
Saying, I love Nashville. Thank you so much, Chase. We
love Chase.
You.
Holy shit.
Chase. We also got one final question when it comes to Triple H here. So I'll ask you first, Dutch. Which former WWE superstars or superstars that are on the rocks with the company do you see possibly returning in the near future now that Triple H and Stephanie are in control?
Well, I think when Triple H took over, I think a lot of people reevaluated their opinion of the viability of WWE. I think we may see Sasha Banks back, maybe. I don't know. But if I'm getting $30,000 a signing, I may want to stay with that, I think. And Naomi, I think you might see her back. And I think you may see Bryan Danielson. I think he's had maybe, I don't know what his contract is in AEW, but I think you had a lot of guys change their mind because, if Vince was stonewalling them all this time and that was their biggest obstacle, now that he's kind of out of the way, I think they might be willing to talk and negotiate a little more. I don't know if they can get out of their contract. I don't know. But it remains to be seen. I think taking Vince out, and I'm not saying anything bad about the man. He's the reason the company is as big as it is and probably as successful as it is. But when he went all this time and he couldn't remember matches he booked 3 weeks ago, which he's still a week ahead of me because I couldn't remember stuff I did 2 weeks ago. So, but that comes back to bite you in the butt. So, and I think putting new blood in there is the life stream of any business that wants to succeed. You got to keep a new idea out in front of the people in WWE. The prime example of that.
What about you, Miss Krssi Luv? Who do you see former WWE stars? We got a bunch of comments in the live chat here saying Juggernaut saying Bray Wyatt. You had Dutch, bring up Sasha and Naomi. Who do you see? Of course, Johnny Gargano has been a big name that people have been discussing with other news that we'll touch on with changes to the SummerSlam card. Who do you see, Krssi?
I would definitely first see the ladies, Sasha and Naomi, them trying to get them back, and I think those would be their main priority first, and then they'll work their way to other people, maybe per se, like the Bray. I don't know if I see Danielson going over there right away right now. Like you said, it depends on his contract. I didn't even think of them, to be honest. I think they're happy of what they're doing at the other promotion so far. But yeah, I think the main priority right now is to get those girls back. That's what they're going to be focused on.
What about you, Rick?
I do think that is going to be one of the things they're going to really, really push hard to do is to get Sasha and Naomi back. And there's already been reports they've been trying for weeks to do that. Now, I don't think Sasha and Naomi are going to come back before their appearance in Chicago, where we know Sasha's getting $30,000 for that. I'd assume Naomi, who was just added to that, is going to get a pretty penny there as well, and worth every bit. And especially same thing for the event that's putting it on. They're going to make that money back and then some. So they ain't coming back before that. I think a guy like Johnny Gargano is 100% more likely to come back now. I think he always wanted to come back to the main roster, but I could see that why he would be hesitant to, we would all see why he'd be hesitant to do that. Again, look at guys like LA Knight and Ciampa and everybody like that who's kind of moved up and haven't really been utilized properly. You know, that you could go on and on and on. Butch being a prime example that I'll always go back to. But now that Triple H is in charge, I think Johnny Gargano could come back and be booked more like a Johnny Gargano. I think Bray Wyatt is come up. Right. I think Bray Wyatt. I mean, everybody's like tossing out the big fish and the big names, right? I think it's more likely, but it's far from a guarantee. It's far from a slam dunk. I mean, all these people are going to have massive options. And if Triple H wants them back, guess what he's going to have to do? He's going to have to back up the Brinks truck. He's going to have to pay them probably way more money than what they were making under the previous regime to get them back, even with the change in creative. What I will say, I do think it is more likely, speaking about AEW stars, they're all under contract, right? Tony Khan was quick to shut down any conversation about Adam Cole and Malachi Black coming back, saying, I got him for 5 years, bitch. Like, this ain't, shut that shit down right now. They're signed through 2027. Stop playing. Stop your tweeting, all right? They ain't going anywhere. But when you talk about guys like Bryan Danielson or a Jon Moxley or Chris Jericho, guys who are really, really happy with their positioning in AEW, I do think when their runs with AEW are over, I do think it is more likely that they may come back for one final swan song in WWE, especially like I think Jon Moxley maybe went from 0.0% now to about maybe a 5% chance that happens down the road. He maybe come back for like one more WrestleMania match to kind of close out his career, something like that. But speaking specifically about, going outside the box with this question, how about somebody like Io Shirai? Io Shirai, whose contract in NXT is up here soon. Reports she wants to go back to Japan, but she's not signed with Stardom or is hesitant to sign with Stardom, and is talking about, hey, maybe she would definitely entertain a main roster contract. I think she's more likely to get something like that now.
That's a good shout as well. Maybe things will change with the people that are currently thinking about leaving. But one thing that has changed is even more is Vic McMahon's ongoing saga when it comes to his hush pack agreements, and the latest update on that was this week on Monday, just a little bit after Triple H was named as new head of creative. WWE filed with SEC reveals that $14.6 million in payments from Vince McMahon that were unrecorded expenses. In a new 8K filing with the SEC on Monday morning, WWE announced that the discovery of $14.6 million in payments from Vince McMahon that were not recorded as company expenses. The payouts appear to be the NDAs to various women, as previously reported by the Wall Street Journal. WWE said that the payments should have been disclosed as official company expenses. It said that it has made a preliminary determination that certain payments that Vince McMahon agreed to make during the period from 2006 through 2022, including amounts paid and payable in the future, and that were not recorded in the WWE consolidated financial statements, should have been recorded as expenses in the quarters in which those agreements were made. According to PW Insider, if WWE is stating that the NDA payoffs should have been recorded, then this may mean that they believe McMahon was using company money for his own personal gain. This could mean legal action in the future against McMahon or WWE from shareholders, as well as possible criminal liability. WWE said that they will revise their financial statements and plan to issue the statements by August 9th. However, they noted that there is no assurance that it will be able to meet this deadline. It was previously reported that McMahon made $12 million in payments to at least 4 women that he had sexual relations with, coerced into performing sexual acts, or harassed. The NDAs were meant to guarantee they wouldn't speak publicly about the situation. It was noted by PW Insider as well that this would explain why McMahon leaving WWE only had a quick mention on SmackDown, as WWE had to cut ties quickly. According to PW Insider, the filing has some interesting wording regarding the situation as well. When it comes to McMahon's retirement, the filing specifically states states that Vince McMahon resigned from the company instead of retiring, as the previous public statement said. Of course, it's possible that in WWE's eyes, the two mean the same thing. In either way, WWE, Vince McMahon is still done and is no longer CEO, chairman, or even a member of the board anymore. WWE officials told Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that while the SEC filing gave the impression that the company paid $14.6 million and McMahon agreed to reimburse them, that was not the case. It was said that McMahon used his own personal money. However, since that money was part of WWE business and not recorded as WWE business, it should have been part of the company's financial statements. The money includes the $12 million that he paid out, as well as another $2.6 million from an unreported case. And Vince McMahon has forfeited a small percentage of his shares in WWE following his exit from the company. An SEC filing was made by WWE on Tuesday, announcing that McMahon has divested 38,000 shares of stock with approximately $2.7 million. With the exit of McMahon from WWE, more details are coming out about his backstage activities, which we're definitely going to hear from Dutch Mantell about what was his experience, because it said that this new report said that he needed to be filtered by creative team assistants during meetings. Fightful Select reports that people within the creative process in WWE are being more forthcoming with what it was like to work there under McMahon, and several people have said that many of the assistants to the writers needed to essentially filter McMahon in particular ways. Those ways included having to know what to not write for McMahon while taking notes, as he would say things that would appear insensitive, offensive, constantly refer to people with the wrong names, and use terms that weren't acceptable and that he would never allow being said on television himself. It was said that the minutes were edited quite heavily as well, and that both situations had largely been the case for a long time. One former production employee was quoted as saying, if a live feed of Vince McMahon on a headset had been given the light of day or ever made it out, that it would provide a picture of that production experience, especially for the announcers. And there were plenty of times he was in a good mood, but he would blow up at some of the most ridiculous things and act like they ruined an angle that was far past its expiration date anyway. One person said that in terms of the creative process, the biggest change they expected under Triple H said, recall of what we have and haven't done repeatedly. There were so many things that Vince insisted on doing that I'm pretty sure he didn't remember doing over and over again, even when people would tell him that. So for Dutch, how would you describe your experience working with Vince McMahon backstage, and what will be, like, in your opinion, being able to work with him and see him closely will be his long-term legacy to the business with everything that we know now?
Well, everybody that walked in to the set on a live Raw or SmackDown, you were walking into unknown territory. And it all depended on Vince. It depended on his mood and his demeanor that day. And I've said this before, and people may have heard me say this previously, but I would always walk by the writer's room and, just looking around, eavesdropping. And I would look in the room, and if I saw the writers going, zippity doo dah, they'd be in a good mood. So Vince was okay. But then when I looked in there and they're going like this, oh God, oh God. Vince is on the rampage. And when he was on the rampage, it affected the whole company. I mean, the company from writers down to talent, down to agents, down to everybody. Because I've seen him come out of there and he was screaming and hollering and throwing stuff, and then he'd go right back in there. But Vince was a very volatile character, and I could see why the writers would have to write certain things down. He used to have a guy with him who would remind him, no, you said this 2 weeks ago. Or remember you said this. He wouldn't remember, so he had to keep a minder, not a reminder, but an actual minder close to him who could remind him what he said. So it was very difficult being around Vince. Some days he was fine. And that's one reason why a lot of guys didn't want to pitch ideas to him, because they didn't know how he'd take them. if they just didn't hit his, if they didn't hit that sweet spot right off the bat, oh, he just raised hell. He'd make the talent feel like idiots. That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Blah blah blah. When you got another idea like this, don't come to me. So, and that's the way he was. So it was very difficult sometimes to work there. You're talking about when he sat up there in gorilla position. I would sit literally 6 feet from him sometimes because they had his chair, then Triple H's chair, then there was another chair up against the wall there, and I would sit there most of the time. But I would hear him cuss out Michael Cole, and he would just scream at him, literally scream. And you talk about tension in the gorilla position. It was heavy sometimes. But Triple H, I'd watch Triple H, and he'd sit there, and Vince would be screaming, and Triple H just sitting there, just doing nothing. Like, what could he do anyway? But he wouldn't get excited. He'd sit there really calm and get up, and he'd walk away sometimes. But you never saw him make any kind of like an eye roll or anything to say, I'm not involved in this. He would just be non-committal, and then he'd get up and leave. It's very difficult to work there sometimes. I'm not, and I can see why, because Vince has been through everything, but I think this was as much an issue with his age and his temperament, because he would lose his temper. And I've seen a lot of people like that, didn't have the responsibility Vince had, but they can still lose their temper. But I mean, and who is going to say anything to Vince?
Right.
Vince get up and cuss somebody out and call him whatever, an idiot, or if you did that on the street to somebody, I mean, that'd be fighting words, really. But what are you going to do to Vince? Punch him?
Right.
You're not going to do nothing. You're going to say, yeah, okay. But you were protected because everybody lived under those same rules. I mean, actually, whoever he screamed at got a lot of sympathy because we all felt for the guy, because it could have been us, it could have been anybody. He didn't care who you were. So that was my experience with him.
Was there any time that you kind of made a pitch to Vince that he didn't like, or you remember like any like ideas that you kind of shut down from Vince?
I never shut down any ideas from Vince. How you going to shut him down? If he thought it was a great idea, it was a great idea. And you either go out there and you try to make it work, knowing that you can't make it work, but you try anyway.
Yep.
And I talked to you earlier today about the Del Rio issue. When I came out in Del Rio, it was the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. Unless you were letting it lead to something. And I finally gave them an idea how to get out of it. Is that, we turn on Del Rio, me and Jack, and then it's obvious that we had set all this up. But they didn't want to hear that either. So that was a stupid idea, and I never really, I pitched them one, not to Vince, but I did pitch them one idea about Jack and Rusev. I said, what about America versus Russia? It's the oldest gimmick in the book, one of them. And they had never thought of it. I gave it to Jamie Noble, one of the agents. And Jamie says, damn, that is a good idea. And I went, well, y'all have had this idea before, right? He went, no. I said, Creative hasn't had this idea? And they went, no. I said, 12 people on Creative never had an idea about Russia and the U.S. No. I says, and then he pitched it the next day. And right when I come in, we was at SmackDown. We did it on Tuesday. He said, man, they loved your idea. It's perfect. And I went, well, God dang.
Wow.
I mean, if I angle that, it's staring you in the face, but you don't think of it. I don't know.
Had none of them seen Rocky IV? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with this creative stuff. So, but we got 2 pay-per-views out of it. So when we could have just got one, we did get 2. But the only
it was the first time they turned Jack babyface during his run too.
Yeah, one thing I do kind of still pisses me off is Jack never beat Rusev one time.
Yeah.
Even on the what we used to call spot shows, the smaller towns, we never beat him there. I said, I don't get this. But to me, if you're going to turn off your fans by beating your hometown American flag waving guy, well, no wonder how Jack went down in their eyes, because he couldn't. I mean, after all we'd done with Rusev, we couldn't beat him, even on the small shows. So, but it don't matter now. I mean, Rusev's gone, we're gone, nobody's going to remember it. But I'm saying, at the moment, if you disappoint your fans like that, you're asking for it. So, it is what it is.
Very true. I want to ask Krssi here, what's your thoughts on this SEC filing and the discovery that this $14.6 million that Vince McMahon paid out should have been, basically recorded as company expenses? Does this kind of answer our question from last week that it was more of a preemptive move by WWE for Vince to retire?
Definitely they're trying to wash all their hands from him, like get him away as fast as possible so that they can keep going on with the brand that it's not tied to him. So yes, I think they did that very, very fast, trying to like just wash their hands and just like, okay, let's just get him out as fast as possible, because this must have been like brewing for a while for them to make all these rash decisions, like boom, 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 boom. Like this is like one after the other.
Let me ask
am I surprised?
When do you think they found out about this before the announcement? They had to know.
They had to know. Yes, I think they knew for a while.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
I think they knew for a while. I think they need just to build up the case to get him out, because I'm sure he didn't want to leave.
No, hell no.
It's Vince. No. It's Vince.
Yeah.
Like
he wanted to die. He wanted to die in that chair.
So yeah, they had to push him out and get. They had to build this case. Someone found it. Someone brought it to someone else, who brought it to someone else, and that's how the ripple effect happened. That's how the dominoes start falling down.
I have a theory.
Go ahead.
Oh boy. Okay, what's your theory, Dutch?
That's what Nick Khan was sent there to do.
By whom?
Well, I don't know everything. It's just a goddamn. Hell, I thought I'd bring it up so you guys would help me out a little bit.
But it was set by The Rock. That was The Rock's little agent. Rock was like, get him out of there.
The information was leaked from the inside, correct?
I'm thinking that, yes.
So
absolutely.
Who leaked it? Wouldn't Khan, Nick Khan have access?
Somebody who meant business. Somebody who meant business, because they didn't send it out to the Fightful Select. They didn't send it out to ESPN. They sent it out to the MFN Wall Street Journal, because they wanted that to get mainstream coverage. They wanted it on all the late night news channels. They wanted Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. They wanted everybody on this. They wanted eyes on the money.
True Hill Heat to have it. You want it.
They wanted me to have it.
So that makes a little bit of that makes a sense. It makes a little bit of sense, right? It was leaked to one of the biggest papers in the world. Not to Meltzer, or not to none of these other jacklegs.
They wanted the big dog.
This is the thing. This is the thing, man. It's always money that ends up taking people down. They got Al Capone for tax evasion, for crying out loud. It's always the money that brings people down. That's why it was leaked to the Wall Street Journal, and that's why this $14.6 million, that's the reason he retired, right? It's fishy. It's a gray area. Did he use company money? Did he use his own? Now there's some serious questions here.
So, Rick, I want to ask you.
The question is, who leaked it?
I mean, I think that's another shoe that's going to drop eventually.
Doesn't Nick Khan, he could be one of them, or a name you could use. Right?
I mean, that's like the latest, wrestling's known for its conspiracy theories, but that's the latest conspiracy theory that Nick Khan has been working to get rid of the McMahon family so he could sell WWE. So, I think it's totally understandable to think that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Vince still owns 80% of the company, so any sale has to go through him. So I don't buy into that theory specifically that he's been trying to sell the company, because it's still Vince's company. He's just not making any decisions.
Right.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, do you believe we will see Vince McMahon on television anytime soon to get like an official goodbye after this latest report?
No.
I don't think so. I think they're done with Vince, and he's just going to have to sail off into the sunset. What I think he's going to have to do.
That's what Stephanie was out there
I've been
for.
saying it.
That's what Stephanie was out there for. There was no big speech about what Triple H and her had up their sleeves. It's like, hey, we're going to move forward, rah, rah, all this stuff. Nope. It was out there to say, thank you, Vince.
Deuces.
That's all that's all Stephanie was out there to do, because Vince McMahon was not going to be out there to do it anymore. There's no more F him. There's no more of him walking down to the ring and just dropping his grapefruits in the center of it. None of that. He's done. It's because it's not his call anymore. If somebody's going to put him on television, it's going to be Triple H's call, and that's not going to happen at least for a very, very, very long time.
That's correct.
I don't think it'll happen anyway.
Yeah.
I think that was the guy who got him all this bad publicity, so they're not going to put him back out there. Even to say, hell, he could say anything when you put him out there. Who knows what he's going to say?
Right. I thought they would have done something at MSG, since it was like, since they were there for Raw or whatever. But other than that, I don't see them doing any, since they didn't do anything that day, they're not doing anything for that man. It's over. It's a wrap.
Did you read Chase's comment?
Yeah, we got a super chat donation from Chase Oliver. Thank you so much once again, Chase. Always appreciate that. Saying, I remember being in the crowd, Dutch, when you announced Del Rio to face Cena. In the moment of his pop, my reaction was like, the heck is this?
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Even Del Rio was saying, what the hell? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, and Vince called us both into a room and explained it to us, and we're both sitting there and said, oh, yeah.
Like,
but
sure.
I think,
okay, if you say so.
And Del Rio was looking at me too, so what are you going to say?
But just to play devil's advocate here, Dutch, I'm sure there have been those moments before in the past where people are like, what the hell are you talking about? This isn't going to work. And then they go out there and it did work.
Yeah, there's been that too.
Yeah.
But I knew, being in wrestling as long as I have, this was not, it was just thrown out there with not a buffer 3 or 4 weeks down the road.
Dutch, are you telling me they would just randomly decide to do stuff without having any kind of end game? They would never do that.
No.
Never.
Never. Vince was sitting around one day and going, oh, yeah, what the fuck can I do?
Let's give Rowan a cage. Fuck it. We'll just have him march down to the stage with a cage for 9 months, and nobody will say shit about it.
Yep.
We also got Ace Shock, who says Dutch's facial hair gets more wild over the years. So I guess that's a compliment, or
I don't know if it is. I hope it is. I could shave it off, but I'm not going to. So.
It's your look.
Now it's your signature look. You have to. I feel like it's gotten bigger since the last time we saw you.
Well, it has.
Okay.
That's what she said. Say that, did I? I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. We also got you, my boy.
He's acting like Kenny now.
I say you.
Okay.
Blue says, I said it a few weeks ago before all this stuff came out that Vince was not going to give up that spot till someone took it from him, and apparently this latest news is the reason why it's been taken from him and why he had to resign, retire.
Yeah, but at the time when what's your name? You My Brother, or what is that?
You My Boy Blue.
Whoever wrote it. See, if we'd read this a month ago, we got, well, ain't nobody going to take it from Vince. That's what we'd have said.
Yeah.
Because it's what we would have believed at the time. But when all this stuff leaked out to the Wall Street Journal?
Yeah.
To the Wall Street Journal. Then it went underground and then it surfaced up. They dodged the wrestling media with it. which gave it an air of believability.
Correct.
And
credibility, because there's
yeah,
not a lot of it in wrestling media, right? Like, and nobody believes a damn word out of even the credible reporters these days.
Exactly.
That's part of the problem and the stigma with wrestling media is there's too damn much of us and not enough accountability for those out there that suck.
Rick, are you saying that people can be listening to us right now saying, bullshit, shut the hell up?
Yes, wholeheartedly, yes. And it's
all right. I want everybody who thinks we're full of shit to make a contribution.
Well, here's the
There
thing,
you go.
we can still be full of shit, but still be credible, right? Like, that's definitely a possibility.
Oh yeah,
definitely a possibility. But there is a certain corner of wrestling media that has no credibility. You know, they just out there throwing shit against the wall for clickbaits and bullshit like that, and it definitely stains the medium as a whole, which is why getting it out there to the Wall Street Journal and CNN and all that stuff definitely does give it a sense of credibility in the mainstream news.
I don't think the worst of this is dropped yet.
Oh, hell no.
I think
Ryan Gumbel's working on a story right now that's supposed to be pretty damn damning.
For HBO Real Sports, yeah.
When we see criminal charges, then it gets bad. Then it gets worse.
Yeah, with this latest report, that's what it sounds like we're going to.
Yeah, I think Laurinaitis is gone forever.
Yep.
I think Vince will never come back, even though he has all the shares. I don't think he's going to reappear. I think we're going to see Bruce Prichard gone too, and Kevin Dunn. Going to see them all gone.
Well, we got a question here for you, Dutch. What was your relationship with Triple H?
Good. It was good. He was the one that hired me. And you know, SummerSlam is in Nashville. That's exactly where I got hired. I got called on a Thursday to be at Raw on Monday. I showed up at Raw on Monday about 3:30. I met with Triple H at 4:30. I did a audition tape. They told me what to say for Vince at 5:30. I was hired at 6:30, and I went live on TV that night at 7:30 Central Time. That's crazy, huh? That's the way it
Yes.
And they ran out in little downtown Bruno, Harvey Whippleman. He ran out to a local Army-Navy store. He got me the vest, he got me some pants, and that's what I wore that night. And that's how quick I was hired. But crazy. This business never ceases to amaze me. I mean, this story about Vince, never before in the history of pro wrestling has anything like this happened.
No.
And
Did you ever hear anything about like stuff like that with regarding to like Vince, like allegations? Was there ever like rumors backstage about stuff with him as far as like the female talent at any point during your runs?
Oh yeah. You talking about Vince and them or Laurinaitis and them?
Vince or Laurinaitis? Did you ever hear rumors?
Definitely. But Laurinaitis had just been suspended. Like I got there in 2013. Laurinaitis was suspended in like the end of 2012 or something. He didn't show up for a while. But
wow,
it was the reason. And then the girls, girls like to talk anyway. So if you kind of made friends with one of them, they'd always give you the scoops. But it was always Laurinaitis. Not so much Vince, but it was usually Laurinaitis, basically. So they were some horny bastards around there. I just got to say that.
Wow.
I mean, keeping it real there. Keeping it real. Question here for Rick. Do you think that Vince is ever going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Clearly, no time soon, but years down the line, says John Jay.
No, I don't.
He don't need to be.
Yeah, look, man, like I get that there are people. I get that there are people who want to celebrate what Vince has done for the pro wrestling industry, and they can separate what he's done for the business from what he has done in his personal life, and that is great. And yes, even though the last decade or so he probably should have walked away at that point, and we'd be in a better spot than we are right now. All of that said, the actions, especially what might come out after this, and if he's convicted eventually of criminal charges, look, all of that leads to the fact that no, he should not be recognized. I'll go to Pete Rose as an example. Pete Rose is a guaranteed should be Hall of Famer in Major League Baseball, but he was banned from the sport forever because of what he did outside of off of the field. So, I mean, there's going to be ramifications for this. No, he doesn't need to be, and he probably shouldn't be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
What about
Agreed.
you, Krssi? You agree?
I agree wholeheartedly. He doesn't need. There's no need for him to be there.
It's his fucking Hall of Fame.
Right. He made it up. Like, he does not need to be there. Like, it's not even a real place that you go to see all the stuff anyway. It's just made up.
Well, you said Triple H called you, to get hired in 2013, Dutch. When is he going to call you to be in the Hall of Fame now that he's in control of it?
I have no idea. But in answer to Krssi, he does. What was your last statement? He doesn't deserve to be in there. He does deserve to be in there. If you took all this,
I said he doesn't need to be.
This latest out, he does deserve to be in there. Yeah. But whether he will be, I don't know. I think maybe 20 years down the line,
if he's still here,
everything has a fade away date. So I think in 20 years, I think we'll see Vince in there.
If he's still here with us, because he's 77 now, so
I don't want to wish him any bad luck, but I hope he's here, but I don't know.
We got two final comments I wanted to highlight here for Rick. We got Top Guy JJ says we need a special program so we can battle this out. My keyboard isn't stronger than live TV. Love you guys and Rick. Y'all still didn't win, and y'all not winning this year neither. Cowards.
Well, we got a better chance because we don't have Ryan Tannehill as our quarterback. So, there's a much better chance that Cincinnati's back in the Super Bowl than a lot of people are giving us credit for. We actually got better, unlike the Titans who traded away their top wide receiver because they decided they didn't need him for some damn reason. So, I'm just throwing that out there.
Are we talking that boring football now? Wrestling is a lot more interesting to talk about than that boring ass football.
I agree.
Honestly, I think there are better storylines in the NFL than there are in WWE right now, and I don't even think that's close.
Hey, there ain't no better storylines than what's going on with Vince and Triple H. I'm sorry. Ain't nothing like that in the NFL.
The same storylines.
I'm talking about, what we see on TV, not what we see behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, there's nothing there to talk about.
I'm sorry, that increased my love for wrestling is the behind the scenes stuff.
That will change. So you're not going to see Ric Flair's last match.
I got to get back for work on Monday.
Well, don't get hot about it.
Romy.
I also didn't get credentialed for that, so.
That Jeff Jarrett, he's a busy guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is. We're going to talk about him a lot.
SmackDown last night in Atlanta. He's going to be in Nashville today for a show tonight where he'll probably get super kicked again. And then he's going to, wrestle tomorrow and at the fairgrounds or wherever they're having
stand on his head again from the super kick.
He's at they moved it downtown to the city auditorium.
Dude, everybody's talking about that cell job that he did last night. I think he straight got jacked in the face. Like that was too damn good of a cell job. I think that was a little tight.
Nah, I've seen him do that cell before. That was good. Romeo, inviting you on, Rick, for covering the AFC North this Thursday night on THA Sports. So there you go. You got an invite to the second channel, and then also got a shout out Chase here with great quotes from Dutch Mantell. There was some horny bastards around there. Dutch Mantell.
Dude, if you ain't transcribing that and sending it to every wrestling website on the planet, I don't know what you doing today.
I don't do that stuff, Rick. I try to keep my name clean.
No, I was talking about SP3. He should be transcribing that and sending it to every.
Well, they were some horny bastards around there.
Hey! Dude,
there's horny bastards everywhere, though.
I respect it. I respect the truth being told here. But yes, we're gonna talk about what we missed this past week. We had AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen. They did 976,000 viewers. The show featured the return of Bryan Danielson, who suffered a shocking loss in a fantastic main event to Daniel Garcia after interference from Jake Hager. You also had Jon Moxley defeat Rush in a great brawl to retain the AEW Interim World Championship. Post-match, Chris Jericho challenged Moxley to a title match in 2 weeks at Quake at the Lake. Ricky Starks beat Danhausen to retain the FTW Championship, but then his confidence, his hubris got too much. He made another open challenge, and yes, Dutch, our boy Hook defeated Ricky Starks to win the championship that his dad created, to a huge pop from that Massachusetts crowd. Post-match, Ricky Starks cut an electric promo that turned him babyface, and then he was betrayed by Powerhouse Hobbs, who laid out his former tag team partner, and Thunder Rosa beat Miyu Yamashita in a good battle to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. Rick, what was the highlight for you from a jam-packed episode of Fight for the Fallen AEW Dynamite?
Ricky Starks, hands down. Look, he's been one of the top guys on the microphone in that company for a while, and honestly, one of the most underutilized guys in AEW, which it's hard to stand out in AEW. It's hard to find the time because Tony Khan is not dealing with a lack of talent. He has a lot of options at his fingertips, and Ricky Starks, man, just kind of shooting there, I think, a little bit, talking about how it was my, goddamn time last month, it's my goddamn time last year, and it's my goddamn time right now. And, Ricky Starks has cut a lot of really, really good promos. This one was his best one in AEW to date, talking about how he took metal and leather and he turned it into gold with the FTW Championship, making people care about that damn thing because nobody did when it was on Brian Cage. And yeah, man, he tugged at the heart. He made you feel, and he cut the ultimate babyface promo. And then he got his ass knocked out by Powerhouse Hobbs. I think Tony Khan did a great job of highlighting all three members of Team Taz on Wednesday and making them all stand out. Yes, Hook takes home the FTW Championship, the title that his dad created. Fantastic. Ricky Starks busts out as a major babyface out of this after that loss, and then you get the big turn by Powerhouse Hobbs, who looks like this unstoppable beast. I'm looking forward to Hobbs and Ricky Starks moving forward. I am a little concerned, though, because I don't know if Hobbs can keep up with Ricky on the microphone. So that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to watch moving forward. And that's not a shot at Hobbs now, because not a lot of people can keep up with Ricky. But he's definitely been the mouthpiece for that group for some time now. So, Hobbs has got an opportunity here to see what he can do now.
Yeah, it seems like
that was actually a great angle. I didn't see it, but just hearing about it. Starks gets beat, but doesn't lose any heat because of the follow-up with Hobbs.
Yep.
So he went from one to the other.
Yep.
And it's a layered finish. And I don't know where Tony Khan learned that, but it is a good finish. Great finish.
Being a wrestling fan, that's what he learned it. Just watching wrestling.
See, what happened, you advanced 3 guys there.
Yeah.
3 guys got advanced. Starks, even though he lost, got advanced. Hook got advanced. He won the title. And then Hobbs got advanced because he turned on his buddy.
Yep.
The only guy who didn't get advanced in that entire segment was Danhausen, and he doesn't need it because he's going to be over no matter what the hell he does. So he got his ass whooped. Big deal. Yeah, he's fine.
Actually, if he won matches, it would hurt him.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, it would, because he's not a serious character.
One day he'll win a championship in a fluky fashion, a la Hurricane style, and the crowd will lose their damn mind, and they'll have fun with that for a little bit, but it was not to be this day.
All those characters are over. So when you get characters over, then you do something with them. I think SmackDown could learn something from this.
Indeed. Indeed. Watch some AEW. That was great booking and storytelling on that show on Wednesday. But also we saw some great wrestling on last Saturday, ROH Death Before Dishonor 2022. You had FTR defeat the Briscoes in an incredible 2 out of 3 falls match to retain the ROH World Tag Team Championships, rated 5 stars by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Another match of the year candidate from these two teams. Claudio Castagnoli, your former Charge Dutch, won the ROH World Championship against Jonathan Gresham in a good opener. Wheeler Yuta defeated Daniel Garcia in a great technical clinic to retain the ROH Pure Championship. Roosh beat Dragon Lee in an awesome bout. Dalton Castle and the boys defeated the Righteous to win the ROH 6-man tag team titles. And Mercedes Martinez defeated Serena Deeb to retain the ROH Women's World Championship. But Dutch, want to ask you, how does it feel to hear Claudio Castagnoli, the new Ring of Honor World Champion, the first world title in Claudio's career?
Well, he's due to win a big one because he came close in WWE, but again, Vince didn't see it in him. But yet they didn't make any big changes to his character to get him over.
Him over. Yeah.
They didn't do that. So, but I'm reading a story that said that who was the guy he beat? What's his name?
Jonathan Gresham. Yeah.
Gresham. So he didn't want to do it, right? I heard.
Yeah, basically the story is that first Gresham did an interview ahead of Death Before Dishonor with Wrestle Purist, where Gresham admitted that he hasn't really spoken with Tony Khan yet and doesn't know what the AEW CEO thinks of him. On what Tony Khan thinks of him, he said it, and I quote, "To be honest, I've not really talked to him. I don't know what he thinks about me. I've had very short conversations with him. When I say short, I mean short. So I don't know. I would hope that he values me. I don't know though, so we'll find out in the coming weeks, months, I guess." And we found out what happened at Death Before Dishonor. After dropping the title to Claudio Castagnoli, Gresham deleted his social media. Then the following day, Fightful Select reported that Gresham asked for his release on Saturday night before Death Before Dishonor, where he lost the ROH World Championship. According to Fightful, Gresham asked for his release because he felt disrespected by a lack of communication between himself and the company, and also had issues with how little time the World Championship match received. It only was an 11.5-minute matchup that opened the show. Gresham got a meeting with Tony Khan before the show and communicated a lot of frustration, with several talent confirming the news. Gresham is said to have cussed out Khan ahead of the show. Fightful also reached out to both Khan and Gresham and was told from Gresham's side that as of this moment, he is done with wrestling for the foreseeable future after this month. Khan and ROH have not commented, and there's no confirmation as to whether Gresham was granted a release. The site was also told that Gresham came out without his regular entrance gear because he wanted to be himself and see things clearly for potentially his last match. And Gresham is not the first to express, these type of issues with AEW and ROH, with several stars whose contracts were not ultimately renewed, also making that point in the past about the lack of communication. And then Fightful also confirmed details about the interaction, saying that Gresham met with Khan and others around 4 p.m. Eastern time, the day of the show. He is said to be heated and not happy with his booking and direction of his character. While the plan was to keep the conversation private, it was over. By the time it was over, most of the locker room and staff could hear how it was going, and even security was able to hear the conversation. In the week leading up, Gresham talked to QT Marshall several times, and that went well, as did his conversations with Sanjay Dutt. And Gresham was mostly frustrated with creative, which ends with Tony Khan, as well as not getting any answers. He was told that creative decisions went through Khan, who couldn't meet with him until a few hours before the pay-per-view started. So kind of similar to what you were saying before, Dutch, about communicating with Vince McMahon and not being able to. It seems like that's going on in AEW. So what's your thoughts on this whole thing with Jonathan Gresham coming out of Death Before Dishonor?
I heard that that Gresham brought up that he was number 20 on the PWI 500. You got to be kidding me, really. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. You know, he believed his own publicity, I guess, and I'm sure he thought he was right in his mind, but who knows? But that's what you run into. But I think Tony Khan is the owner. He makes the decisions. Cussing out the boss is not the best way to work yourself into his good graces. And he may have wanted to do something after this, but after you cuss the boss out and everybody hears it, I don't think that's a good card to leave when you walk out that door, if that's the last thing they know about you. But anyway, I think Claudio deserves it because he's got a story. Everybody's got a story. Gresham is very, very talented. So is Claudio. What kind of match did they have?
It was mostly like a technical matchup, you know, Gresham working over the leg of the bigger man, and then, you know, Claudio using his power to kind of overcome that. And then he won with like the hammer and anvil elbows to the head, and then the Ricola bomb. But it only went 11 and a half minutes for a ROH World Championship matchup, which is well below what it usually gets.
Yeah, but don't you? Gresham wasn't a straight out heel, though, right? Or he was.
Well,
he had just turned, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he turned heel and he joined Tully Blanchard Enterprises on Rampage a few weeks ago. And that was one of the notes in the report, is that Gresham reportedly did not want to turn heel, but ROH thought there was a bigger picture for it. And so, yeah, that's how it went down.
Tony should have told him, listen, let's do this now and let's give you a break and bring you back. I think he'd have been happy with that, and they could have done that. Because if he was caught up in the Tully thing, they were planning to get rid of Tully anyway, from what I understand. That it didn't work or something. But, you know, you don't go in there and cuss your boss out. That doesn't work in any business. I mean, if you can be a little bit more cordial and a little bit more willing to negotiate and talk business, I would have think Gresham, from what I know about him, and I don't know him, he would seem like he's not a hot-headed type of guy. You know him?
No, I personally don't know him. But what were you going to say, Rick?
I was going to say, like, did he, when we say cussing out, right, did he do what I did earlier when I was called a Fairweather fan and just start dropping F-bombs because I was passionate about something, or did he insult Tony Khan? Because I do think there is a big difference in the two. You know, there is a being passionate about something you believe in and letting a few F-bombs fly. And I totally understand that in the moment. And I can understand his frustration. Tony Khan buys Ring of Honor and he starts bringing in all of this talent and all these championships. You'd think he would have had major plans for the Ring of Honor World Champion right out of the gate. And he was on the bench for months. And then he finally gets brought in. They have him say, hey, we want you to turn heel, and we want you to drop the belt to Claudio, who we just signed a month ago. So I can totally understand his frustrations if he feels like he was overlooked, misused. You know, I get it. I understand it. And here's the thing. Yes, he went in there, he cussed out Tony Khan. But after he was done doing that, he went out there and did the job that he was supposed to do.
Yep.
And I think there should be something to be said for that as well.
Yeah, that was the other part of the report, because Fightful put out an update on the situation. According to the update, Gresham isn't currently figuring into any creative plans for ROH or AEW after he requested his release. Both sides reportedly confirmed that things grew heated behind the scenes. However, AEW sources indicated that they were happy with how the Gresham versus Castagnoli match played out, and many are said to have respected the professionalism shown by Gresham by going forward with the match. match. Additionally, the report notes that while things did get heated between both sides, apparently no bridges were burned. Also, it's not yet been confirmed if Tony Khan granted Gresham his requested release. Fightful reports that there was said to have been interest from at least 3 other companies in Gresham before he signed with the company. However, Gresham's immediate feelings after dropping the title are that he's apparently done with wrestling for the moment. That said, many of Gresham's co-workers reportedly don't think that he's going to quit wrestling completely because he loves wrestling too much for him to remain that way. And a lot of this, a lot of people asking questions about the whole Tully Blanchard situation, because also at Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, Prince Nana appeared and revealed that he purchased Tully Blanchard Enterprises. He then worked as the manager for the Gates of Agony, Brian Cage, and Jonathan Gresham. And according to Fightful Select, Blanchard was not backstage at the show, although there was conflicting reports on why. People are unsure if he missed his travel arrangements or if there was confusing involving the travel, however, his prison ministry group was also said to be the reason he wasn't there. Others says that he just didn't show up. Either way, talent and staff in ROH who asked were told that Blanchard is basically done with AEW and ROH from here further. I know Krssi Luv, you're happy to hear about that. You've been against Tully and his daughter for a while. What's your thoughts on this whole Jonathan Gresham situation and also Tully Blanchard departing from the company?
The Gresham situation is unfortunate. I'm happy that the other dude did win. I mean, I did pick him. However, I just feel like the way they had the match, I thought that maybe it was kind of rushed because he literally just got there. He's been there a month now, maybe 2 tops of that. So I think it was kind of rushed, but I see on a business side like what they're trying to do for that brand. So I get it. But Gresham has been there has been the champ, and he's been doing a good job. You know how I feel about the Blanchards. Fuck them, and whatever horse that they rode on. Whatever. It is what it is. Other than that, I hope Gresham gets the happiness that he needs and the stuff that he deserves, because he is a great wrestler. And someone will, if he does get out of a contract, hopefully, Tony can, make him happy and, appreciate what he has and make him feel wanted. Other than that, give him his paper so he can go.
SP3, do you think there would be WWE interest in Gresham if he does get his release from AEW Ring of Honor?
Now with Triple H in charge, I would think, yeah, because Triple H is not about. If this was the Vince McMahon era of WWE, I would immediately say no. But with Triple H in charge, he cares about guys that are good wrestlers. I'm not saying that Gresham's going to get signed and get a big push, but I can see him looking at Gresham as one of the better wrestlers that's available, that he would think about it.
Yeah, Vince would have put him in a leprechaun suit.
Oh my God! Please don't say that. Don't say that, Rick.
It's like I've never had a black leprechaun.
Oh God, no! Stop it! Stop it, please! Oh God, no!
The thing working against Gresham is his height.
Yeah.
I mean, you can add weight, you can't get taller.
Yeah.
So and everybody
would be.
I think that.
Vince would have had him under the ring last night, debuting in that Shillelagh match. That's what.
You know what? I'm done. I am getting. What if he really did that, though? Oh my God, that would have been so sad to see. Oh
God.
Oh man. Wow. There you go. Annika saying this should be their first AEW wrestler with Jonathan Gresham. Ninja Mortis says, I need my own warning. So sorry about that. I just had to. It was low hanging fruit. CM saying CHK Tony Khan is a huge fan that ranking should matter. Plus he carried that ROH banner. This is another example of a certain bias CHK has. I think that people are getting a little ahead of themselves here. Putting the title on Claudio was the right move. If you're gonna make it a brand on its own and potentially on television or a streaming platform, you needed a name like Claudio that has been a star in wrestling for a while. Yeah, like I just think that it needed more build.
That's why I said it's a business thing.
I would have done the 60-minute time limit draw and then draw it out a little bit more before Claudio won, but I totally understand putting the title on him because that makes the whole world of sense to me.
Business. It's a business, man.
I like that idea. But how do you have a 60-minute?
I like that idea, though. Yes.
What happened, Doug?
No, I said I like your idea of the time limit draw. But how do you do a world 50 minutes?
He said 60.
Well, 60 minutes.
I mean, they can do anything they want to, but.
Yeah, but this is like a ROH staple, Dutch. Like this is something ROH has done in previous eras is the 60-minute time limit draw. Like Bryan Danielson in his run with the ROH World Championship, he had at least 3 time limit draws against Nigel McGuinness, against Colt Cabana. So he was doing it quite often. I think and with Jonathan Gresham and Claudio Castagnoli, those are the 2 guys you would want to do a 60-minute time limit draw with.
Yeah, I don't know. Watching them for 60 minutes, you go, I don't know, guys. But
hey, we saw Hangman and Bryan Danielson go for 60, and I could have watched them for another 60. So it all depends.
This is true. This is very true. But
again, that's Bryan Danielson. Now,
didn't he do one with Omega too?
Well, no, they did a 30-minute time limit draw.
Was it 30 minute? Okay.
Yeah.
No, they could do that. But how was the match? How was the match in 11 minutes?
It was good. It just could have been great with more time. Yeah, I think that's the main issue that Gresham probably had with it because there was potential there to make it great. Yeah, but hey, it happens.
Well, it is unfortunate that he had a problem with that because he's going to be maybe not with anybody in any other promotion, but with Tony. You know, you just don't put that out of your mind right away.
Right.
Because he remembered if he makes a move and if Gresham didn't like it, he'd go through it again. And it makes him look bad with talent. If other talent heard that. So I think, and I don't know the situation between him and Tony, but I do think that they said no bridges were burned. I think some bridges were torched, is what I think. May not have burned all the way down, but those edges were really scarred up by fire. That's what I think.
Yeah, from what it hears like, it definitely feels like that. But you also had last night, guys, AEW Rampage Fight for the Fallen. You had Orange Cassidy and Best Friends defeat Jay Lethal, Satam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. Post-match, the heels attacked Cassidy until TNT champion Wardlow came down for the save. Lee Moriarty defeated Matt Sydal after interference from Stokely Hathaway. You also had a good promo exchange between Chris Jericho and Wheeler Yuta, set up a match between the two for Dynamite with Jericho's shot at the AEW Interim World Championship up for grabs. And Anna J. AS beat Ruby Soho in the main event using her cast to choke her out. So some good action there. But also last night you had SmackDown. SmackDown kicked off with a hell of a match between Drew McIntyre defeating Sheamus, a great good old-fashioned Donnybrook match to advance to face the undisputed WWE Universal Champion at Clash at the Castle. Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan beat Sonya Deville and Natalya. Theory was featured a lot once again, attacking McIntyre after his match and then trying to jump Brock Lesnar in the main event segment. And then Brock took him to Suplex City, and then McIntyre hit Theory with the Claymore. Rick, I saw you were in love with that Drew McIntyre Sheamus match from last night.
Yeah, this was a match that I had no idea why it's not on the SummerSlam card tonight.
In the first place, like, ugh. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because here's the thing, guys. Sheamus and Drew live here. They live in Nashville. This is their home away from home. They should be on this card tonight. It is ridiculous. They're both massive Tennessee Titans fans. Just 2 weeks ago, the Titans had Drew McIntyre out dressed up in Titans gear running drills. Like, why the fudge is this not on the card tonight?
You can say the word, friend. It's okay.
I've dropped too many F-bombs. It's all right. So anyway.
No, you can never drop too many. It's okay.
But, like, here's the thing. So they went out there last night, and they said, this is for you, Krssi, fuck you. We should have been on that damn card last night, and they showed out. They set the bar high for that match last night for the rest of SummerSlam weekend and all of the shows that are going on, because that's going to be a tough match to beat. I love that these two just absolutely beating the hell out of each other with shillelaghs and chairs and this, that, and the other thing. One thing I will mention, please, for the love of God, I know you had a bar there, but no more liquids on the sidelines, please, because Drew McIntyre slipped in beer last night. That is a great way to get somebody hurt. No more damn liquids in a match, please. Don't need somebody tearing a groin or a quad or something because they slipped in a puddle. All right, let's stop with that horse shit. But that match was absolutely spectacular, and it kind of peaked the night for me. I love Wheeler Yuta baiting Chris Jericho into that opportunity, that title opportunity. A lot of people, I don't know why, they sleep on Yuta as this guy who could be a star. Dude's got some personality, man. Like that whole exchange with Jericho was great. I'm also a big fan of heel Anna Jay. Like, she didn't really do a whole lot for me as a baby face, but I like her as a heel. I think that gives her a nice little edge there. So again, another great night all around last night.
Since you didn't have to watch either show, did you watch SmackDown or Rampage, Dutch?
Hell no. I said, thank you, Lord.
Same.
You're not making me watch SmackDown. So,
man,
but it was actually a good show. I won't. I don't usually say that, Dutch, but it was a good show.
Of course, the night I don't watch is when it's a good show. Great. Thanks.
It was.
There was one thing that bothered me, and that's how they booked Ronda and Liv's match. Because damn it, man, they're making Liv look way
like an idiot.
Like an idiot, because she's like, oh, I got to go out there and prove myself. I got to go out there and prove myself. Yep. So I'm going to work this entire damn tag match and leave Ronda on the sidelines when I got to face her in 24 hours. Like, what are you doing? You should be standing on the sidelines letting Ronda get her ass beat.
Right. That part.
And then Ronda comes in and saves the match in the end, and it's like,
and get the pin.
This is the match tonight where I'm going to be watching the entire time, and my heart's just going to be going, because I'm like, please do not do what you did to Nikki ASH last year. Liv Morgan needs, by hook, by crook, I don't care how you do it, Liv Morgan needs to leave with the SmackDown Women's Championship tonight.
Has to. I don't know, friend. I don't know.
What's your prediction on Brock? What's your prediction on Brock and Roman?
I think they're going to beat the holy shit out of each other, and Roman's going to win.
Yep.
There you have it. WWE Raw, they had 1.901 million viewers. The show was the first show of the Triple H era in Madison Square Garden. Roman Reigns and the Usos defeated Riddle and the Street Profits in a very good 6-man main event. Post-match, Seth Rollins curb stomped Riddle on the steel steps to end the show. Roman Reigns also put Theory in his place, telling him that his daddy isn't here anymore, ahead of Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley beating Theory and Sheamus in tag team action. Post-match, the Usos super kick Theory. Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch got into a pull-apart brawl ahead of SummerSlam. Logan Paul and The Miz also got into a pull-apart brawl to kick off the show before Logan hosted Impulsive TV with Maurice and Miz coming out to talk about balls for some reason. And Ciampa got involved for Miz to lay out Paul ahead of tonight. So what was the highlight for you on this Raw, Krssi?
See, my highlight, for me, it was a highlight because I went with some special kids that day that has never been to a WWE event. Shout out to Mr. Perry. Other than that, I wish I was home, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie to you because I'm sitting there.
Tell us a lie.
Tell us a lie.
Don't sugarcoat it now. Tell us how you really feel about it.
Listen, I was asked to be a chaperone to take these lovely kids to go to a WWE show. No problem. As I'm at the show, I'm like, dang, this could have been a good show to watch from the house instead of being in person. You know,
To be fair, I thought the first 2 hours were rolling along great. Like I really did. And I know it was still a Vince. I know it was a Vince script, but here's the thing. It was a Vince script from Thursday that wasn't torn up at 3:00 on Monday. So which still showed you that the old man had something in him if he just didn't change his mind every 5 minutes. But it was when that third hour kicked off with Miz and Maurice and talking about balls and shit like that. I'm like, well, they gave it a good run. They had a great shot there to pitch a perfect game, and it just got messed up at the 7th inning stretch. All right.
I think it got messed up also when Becky and Bianca came out. Like they did really nothing. You know, it's
less is more there. Less is more there to me because what else was left to say at that point? They've said it all for the last year.
This is very true.
They said it all and that brawl was great. The brawls were excellent on Monday.
TV. I'm sure it's better on TV than in person.
Of course, and they always do. They always do. Yeah, that was a lay your shit in kind of Monday. That's what that felt like last night. Like there was no.
Was amazing.
No pulling punches. And SB3, back me up on this one because I know we feel the same. It's still Vince's script. It's still Vince's show to this point. It just feels looser. It just feels looser. It feels like people are more relaxed. It feels like people are having fun. I think nobody's screaming in some ears on commentary, right? You got Xavier Woods dropping the Ring of Honor.
Michael Cole said WWE fans last night, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't say the WWE universe. He said WWE fans. So yes, you could tell that commentary is feeling a lot better. Dutch, what did you saw the Roman Reigns Theory exchange? How did you like that one?
Oh, I love that because I'm judging off the audience reaction. He says your daddy is not here anymore.
Ooh, that was some stuff right there. That gave us goosebumps. And I ain't gonna lie to you. And I was in the seats when I heard that one.
Everybody's mind, they said, I don't think he was told to say that. They think that he just pulled that out of his butt all of a sudden. No, I think he was told to say that, and he wanted to say that. So, and it got Roman over. Now, that's the audience. The audience feel like they know what's going on. And they do.
Who's your daddy?
But when he said your daddy's not here anymore, talking about Vince, they love that. So if you don't know your audience, you need to get out of the business. So you got.
Hey, Vince already did, so it's okay.
And they popped to
that
it.
part.
I like.
We should note during Wednesday's episode of The Bump, it was announced that the match between Seth Rollins and Riddle had been pulled from SummerSlam this Saturday. According to WWE, Riddle suffered a Burchaya Palace injury, a stinger basically, and hasn't been cleared to wrestle. However, Fightful Select reports that Riddle is not injured. The decision to remove him was because of creative adjustments, quote unquote. The wrestlers were told on Monday, and as of now, the plan is to have the match at Clash at the Castle in September. At this time, Rollins is still he's in Nashville, and he put out a tweet saying, for anyone who purchased a ticket to #SummerSlam, hoping to see me in action, I apologize. I did everything I could over the last 6 months to earn my spot on this show, but some things are out of my control. Thank you for always singing my song. They'll hear ya someday. And Triple H responded to that with a tweet, retweeting it and saying, I hear you. So this was, I don't know about this tweet because Seth Rollins is supposed to be a heel and this comes off like a baby face. And I know that Triple H is trying to baby face himself. So very confusing lines here, but I think we're going to see Seth Rollins on SummerSlam. Who do you think he faces, Rick?
My pipe dream is Johnny Gargano because he's in town and that would be a 20-minute banger and I would be happy. And I think the crowd in Nashville would be happy because these are hardcore wrestling fans who are coming to SummerSlam. This isn't your stereotypical Raw audience who may not know who Johnny Gargano is. We've seen that with a lot of NXT call-ups on these more mainstream audience shows who get no reaction because they don't know who these people are because they don't watch NXT. My guess is it would be somebody like Dolph Ziggler, who's been out there and working with Theory. But Theory's been feuding with literally everybody on the entire roster. It's really weird right now. It's almost like they're setting him up for a bunch of title defenses after he successfully cashes in. That's what it feels like to me, because he is literally feuding with half the roster. But I don't.
Camp right now.
Gunther.
Gunther, Walter, whatever. He's the IC champ right now. But I'm sitting here and I'm going, this just doesn't smell right. Like something. Initially, I'm sitting here thinking something has got to be up Triple H's sleeve. He's got to have something special that works here for Rollins. But then I get here, man, and Rollins, who was supposed to be at the press junket yesterday,
was
pulled from the press junket yesterday. He was at the auditions. He did show up in the same venue where the media junket was going on, so he is in Nashville. He and Becky stopped by to say hi to Big E, who was working with the tryouts, so that was a nice little moment there. But, yeah, man, he's in Nashville. I don't know why this match was pulled. I just don't. I don't know the creative change here, but I feel like there was some feelings that were hurt that this match was pulled.
Oh, no. Please don't
get ready. Get ready.
Stop it.
Goldberg.
Stop
Goldberg. Sean,
I will say this. I will say this.
Goldberg lose.
Unless they throw Rollins in the title match, which makes no damn sense, he ain't going to win again. Because, like, if he does get, like, a massive surprise, here's somebody coming back kind of a match, like, they're going to book Rollins to lose, just like they did with Cody Rhodes. This was a match that he needed to win desperately, and that's what I think he was going to do, because they've been having Riddle put everybody over. So, I don't know. I don't know.
How many matches is on this card now?
That's my line. I don't know.
I think there's 8.
There's 8. There's 8 if this one is off. But okay. Dutch, who do you think? Who do you think is it going to be someone a free agent maybe coming in, or do you think it's going to be someone on the roster, or do you think Seth's going to have a match in general at SummerSlam?
What I would love to see, and I think it would work, is have a little Theory go in the back and sell his Money in the Bank contract to Rollins. Then Rollins shows up and cashes in. That'd be different.
Hey, make some money, make a good payday.
If you showed them in a room and they're talking, people said, why are they talking? Show them twice. And then all of a sudden you have Rollins walk out and he's got it. And Reigns is in a bad way. Just come in and have him damn shit kick him and pin him. 1, 2, 3. I think Reigns has had the title way too long. I mean, nobody.
Yes, 2 years.
Goldberg, and it's a last man standing anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like, there is part of me that thinks that Roman and Brock are going to kick the ever living shit out of each other tonight. They're both going to be down and incapacitated, and then Theory's music is going to hit. He's going to run out, make it a triple threat match, and then just stand there as the ref counts both Brock and Roman out for 10, and he's going to walk away with both belts. There is part of me that feels like that might be a play they do tonight.
No way.
Imagine the heat, though. Imagine the damn heat where this dude literally does nothing and walks away with all the gold tonight.
I don't think it would be heat. I think it would be go away heat.
I'm canceling
exactly.
Who cares? Who gives a shit as long as they're booing, as long as they're giving a reaction? Fuck that go away heat bullshit.
But why are they booing?
Who cares? They're giving a reaction.
It doesn't. No, we do, obviously. The fans that you were expecting to boo. There's a reason for them to boo.
Okay, I don't want to just be trying to knock pegs out. How could it go to a 3-way?
You can cash in at any time. You can cash in at any time.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-way last man standing match?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If they're both down,
how does it
count them both out?
Stuff?
He cashes in the middle of the match. That's what they did with Rollins at WrestleMania 31. He cashed in and made it a triple threat mid-match.
Yeah. Everybody wants Rollins at WrestleMania 31 again, it seems. WWE NXT 2.0. Well, no, I didn't want to ask Krssi. Who do you think? Who do you think would verse Seth Rollins if he does have a match against a mystery opponent?
I don't know, man. Y'all done made my head hurt with this whole Goldberg shit. I don't want to see that at all. None whatsoever. And this is a big arena at that. This is like this is a stadium, right? No, they don't.
Yes.
They don't deserve the people deserve so much better. We don't need Brock. It's okay. I mean, not Brock. I mean, what that man named Goldberg.
I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with you there.
Could they call up Carmelo Hayes for a spot like this?
No. Ooh. Like, I don't even think they're going to call up Johnny Gargano because Johnny Gargano is not a big enough star. Now, you're saying someone who's less of a star into the casual fans than Johnny Gargano? I love Carmelo Hayes.
This ain't a casual fan audience, though. But I'm just saying.
I mean, this is not New York. This is not Vegas where it's just going to be a hosh by. Yeah, it's SummerSlam, but it ain't the hardcores. There's some casual fans out there.
I'm just throwing out names, man, because the biggest match that he could have, they pulled. So they got to have something up their sleeves. They got to have something. Is there anybody who's injured right now that we're forgetting?
Right.
Like, I know there are people who are hurt, unless Randy Orton's making a surprise return, which he's been dealing with. I don't know.
Cody's coming back.
Cody's coming back. He's going to have half a peck.
Again, half a peck. Half a peck, he's going to come out. WWE NXT 2.0, they did 600,000 viewers. The show featured WWE Hall of Famer Alundra Blaze appearing to help Roxanne Perez take the NXT Women's Tag Team title out of the trash and announce a fatal four-way for the gold next week. The D'Angelo family defeated Diamond Mine in a good 8-man tag team main event. Zoe Stark beat Gigi Dolan, and they announced that Zoe's going to be facing Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's title at Heatwave in 3 weeks. New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 32 week 2. They had night 5 had Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Tetsuya Naito in an excellent main event to drop Naito to 0-2 in the tournament so far. Night 6 saw David Finlay pull off an upset over his former tag team partner Juice Robinson in a great grudge match main event. Night 7 had Tomohiro Ishii beat Tama Tonga in a really good main event. And then this morning's night 8 saw David Finlay pull off another upset against Shingo Takagi in a great match. Jonah scored his first win against Tom Lawler. Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Zack Sabre Jr. in a terrific technical wrestling clinic. And then you had GCW, the People versus GCW last night. Jon Moxley defeated Blake Christian to retain the GCW World Championship. Los Manisos beat Busi and Second Gear Crew to win the GCW World Tag Team titles. And Cole Radrick won a 6-way scramble to win the GCW Extreme Championship. And then finally, Impact on Access TV had Kushida defeat Rich Swann in a damn good main event. Eddie Edwards beat Ace Austin in a rock solid opener, and Honor No More caused chaos, which led to Scott D'Amore making a 10-man tag team matchup between them and the Bullet Club. If Honor No More wins, Bennett and Taven will get a shot at the Impact World Tag Team titles, and if Bullet Club wins, Honor No More must disband. But we got the news to get to, then we'll do the predictions. But Rick, I know you got to run. You got a busy weekend being in Nashville with everything. Please let the people where they can find you on social media, what you got going on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast, some great interviews from Nashville. So let the people know.
Yeah, so this morning we dropped an interview with Tommaso Ciampa, or I guess Ciampa now, talking about his emotional goodbye to NXT, him botching Triple H's water spitting tribute, which was hilarious. He was a great sport about that, even though I gave him some shit for it. You know, him coming up to the main roster and why his feud with The Miz, or not feud, his partnership with The Miz actually makes a ton of sense. Also in recent weeks, we've dropped interviews with Renee Paquette, with AEW's Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon, and of course, Happy Corbin, who is, not to ruin his reputation, a really, really good dude. All of those can be found on the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast channel. That is BLEAV. Of course, you can also follow me on Twitter at Rick Ucchino, spelled exactly like you see on the screen there. It's just, it's not, yeah, there it is, at Rick Ucchino. You can follow me there and get all of my highlights and clips and interviews and everything. That's the one-stop shop for everything that we got going on. I'm going to be heading off here now to go to StarCast. I want to make sure I get there in plenty of time to check out Renee Paquette and Brian Danielson, and maybe see if I can wiggle my way out to get some more interviews. You can also read all of my stuff at Cage Side Seats. While we were on the air here, just had my article with Ciampa for my conversation drop, so make sure to check all of that out. I do appreciate the time to come on the channel as always.
Yes, thank you so much, Rick. Of course, me and Dutch will see you next Friday on Smack Talk. Dutch, you're gonna
they didn't
Rick,
cancel
right?
us. They didn't cancel us. All right, they just postponed us for some dumbass reason. I don't know.
You're gonna miss Rick the next week, right, Dutch?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna miss him. Like Ted Bundy missed electricity.
Love you, Dutch. See you guys.
Love you, Poopy. Love you, Poopy.
See you, Rick. See you, Rick. But yeah, we got WWE news to discuss. So we talked about last week. You weren't here with us, Dutch, but we talked about Brock Lesnar walking out of last Friday's episode of WWE SmackDown following the news of Vince McMahon's retirement. However, Lesnar eventually came back and worked the show. According to new reports at that time, that Lesnar came back after things calmed down and the entire situation was overblown. The Wrestling Observer newsletter notes that Lesnar came back to the arena around 8:30 p.m. Eastern, almost 7 hours after he left. And while the show was in progress, it's believed that when he walked out, management kept in contact with him and they made a deal for him to come back. It was said that the worst thing that could happen publicly would be if the most famous wrestler in the company walked out the day Vince McMahon retired, which would have resulted in WWE having to change the SummerSlam main event. It was said that if that happened, it would give the impression that the company was in chaos after McMahon left, which would be a terrible public message. And there were, however, alternate plans made for the show if Lesnar didn't come back. When he came back, it was said that he seemed very happy, which suggested that whatever offer was made to get him back worked out. So, Dutch, I think I kind of teased this, and you said this when we talked about it before we talked about it on Smack Talk. Brock Lesnar got paid.
No kidding. He probably walked out without, and he walked back with $1 million.
That's a fact. We said that.
He played, yeah, he did. I don't blame him, because now Vince is gone. He made his deal with Vince. And I don't think, Brock is not a trusting type guy anyway. But him and Vince kind of understood each other. Vince could get him to do all this stuff. Now they're going to find out. And I think Brock knows that he's a fill-in and he's not going to win. So he's going to get paid for it.
He's going to get paid to lose and keep losing.
So, and when he walked back, that's why he was in a good mood. You think he was in a good mood just because he talked to Vince or he talked to somebody? Oh, well, it's all forgotten. No, we know you're having a bad day. Come on back and we'll have a beer or something. Hell no, he walked back with $1 million.
With a bigger fat check, yeah.
He walked back with more money than he walked out with. And I don't blame him. That's the way wrestling business has always been.
Yeah. Krssi, would you say, do you think that he walked out because he was truly mad about McMahon retiring, or do you just think it was a brilliant business move in reading the situation?
He was probably having a temper tantrum. He's being a toddler, He has to be treated like a certain way, like children. And Vince was the only one that can control him. When you call your mom or your dad, and they'll listen when you put them on the phone at the school. They're not listening to teachers, but if you call the parents, they'll listen. So that's what happened. He didn't want it. He had a little temper tantrum. He left, came back. He came back with a big check, a bigger check. One time, do this match for us and go home. That's it.
I think Brock knew about it before he got there.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that one.
I think Vince says, if you want to make them sweat, won't you just walk out? What are they going to do? Because they're sticking it to what Vince is. You've never heard anybody from Stephanie or any of them or Triple H say the word innocent about Vince. It's assumed he's guilty. So But I bet Vince, there's no love lost between
True.
them.
That's
He
so
said,
true.
walk out and set a price, and you'll come back. So he walked out. He waited till the news broke. He took off as per planned, and then he came back. And then Vince says, "Well, let me talk to him."
He
So
was
he
like,
said,
how much you want?
okay, he'll come back, but at this price. And they said, see, they have nothing to negotiate with. Nothing. The only thing he could do is hurt them. He can't help them unless he just goes ahead and does the job and comes back, and that's what he did. So I don't know. I don't think he's. I don't think Brock really dealt with anybody in that upper hierarchy than Vince. If he had a
Yeah.
problem, he went to Vince. He didn't go to, Triple H has been they tried to push Triple H out anyway after his heart attack or whatever he had. They was trying to castrate him. And I said earlier about Bruce Prichard and Kevin Dunn, and that's why he's got a hard on for them, because they tried to get rid of him too. See, there was a power play in progress before all this happened. So when people understand that, and now Vince is not there, so all the Vince people now have no power. The power has went in another direction, and be careful, who you sleep with, because that bed could get made up with somebody else in it.
Great
I just
quote.
made it
Great
up.
quote there.
I just made that up, by the way. So if anybody uses it, I'll sue them.
I had a couple comments that I forgot to mention here. Ninja Mortis saying, who else thinks Rollins was talking about Gargano, not Vince, thus leading to Gargano return? No, he was talking about Vince. He's talking about Roman, not Rollins. But yeah, that was only Dave Meltzer who got confused on who the daddy mentioned by Roman was meant to be against. And then we got a super chat donation from Chase Oliver once again. Thank you so much, Chase. We always appreciate that. Saying Seth Rollins is a treat to watch live. I hope he is on the card tonight. We shall see. I think either way, Seth will be a part of the card in some way. But other
he has
news,
to be. He has to be. There's no other choice.
Yeah. And I think they wouldn't tease it with him and Triple H if he wasn't going to be on the card tonight. So we shall see. We shall see. Maybe Gargano, maybe Bray Wyatt. Nobody really mentioned him. He's another one that could be
that's actually a good one.
mystery. Yeah, because he's very close with Triple H in comparison to Vince, so that would make a lot of sense too. But talking about more fallout with Vince McMahon being retired, the Wrestling Observer newsletter had some notes on how the CEO responsibilities will be divided between Stephanie and Nick Khan now that they are co-CEOs. According to the outlet, Khan will be handling the business aspects of WWE, while Stephanie will handle the wrestling side. Stephanie's husband, Triple H, is of course now serving as head of talent relations as well as creative. And it was noted that while type executives and people who work with such in this area say the co-CEO thing doesn't work more than it does, one source in the company believed it was needed in this case, stating, I actually believe this pairing is necessary. Nick is a revenue driver and he's been involved in things that are not of his specialty. What he's good at, he's great at. Steph is the promoter, the old school promoter with the new lexicon and media about analytics and branding. If Steph sticks to being a promoter, managing the relationships for the company, and Nick sticks to revenue, they're a formidable team. Dutch, do you think that this is the right choice for WWE's future with Nick Khan and Stephanie in control?
Well, for the immediate time, I don't see anything wrong with it. Whether it'll work out long time remains to be seen. I still think WWE could be sold. That's what I think. Because
You've been saying this for months.
No,
yeah.
For real? Wow.
No, I just said it just to hear myself say it. So, yeah, I think it's worth $5 billion. So, some of these other companies can get sold. So can WWE, because they'd get their money, and I don't know. I think that's why Nick Khan, I've said it, I think that's why he was sent in there. He wasn't sent in there just to help the company. He was sent in there to uncover some dirt, which he did. They had to know that before he went in there. And I don't think it's been hunky-dory with Nick Khan from the beginning, because you know the McMahons had to smell a rat, I would think. I mean, they're not tone deaf to their own business. So it remains to be seen. Hey, when you got billions of dollars on the line, people can shed some moral ground and not lose any sleep over it at all.
It's definitely true. You never lie in there. WWE also has announced this week that the location and venue for WrestleMania 40, as well as confirmed that it will take place over 2 nights. The event will happen on April 6 and 7, 2024 at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Yeah, you're scared it's gonna rain?
I know it's not gonna rain. It's gonna be freezing in Pennsylvania. It's gonna be cold.
You ain't never lying there.
It's gonna be cold. Just let y'all know that right now, because it was cold. It was chilly in April for 2019 in Jersey. PA, their winters are way different from ours. And this, you bring a bubble coat, friends. Bring a bubble coat. It's gonna be cold.
Krssi, where are you from? Where are you?
I'm in New York.
Okay.
So PA
Why is Philadelphia? But Philadelphia and New York not that far apart, right?
They're like 3.5 hours away from each other. However, it's more, they get more snow than we do. They get more, their weather is way different from us. So therefore, in that time, it's really like touch and go, because like beginning of April, March, it's spring, but it's still cold. It's still cool at night, and it can be very bright, sunny day. But when that nighttime cool air hit, oh, it's gonna be a Mr. Freeze is gonna be outside.
What's the weather like in Nashville tonight?
Apparently, Chase is telling us it might rain tonight for SummerSlam. So,
oh no, dang.
At Nissan Stadium. Yep,
it's outside. So
this is true. On Friday, it was announced that Trinity Fatu, aka Naomi, will join Sasha Banks on the C2E2 convention in Chicago on August 6th and 7th. We talked about it before we went on air, Dutch, that Sasha Banks is getting $30,000 for this appearance. What would you say Naomi's range might be in to make this appearance here?
I don't think it hits 30. It might hit, I would think, 10, 15.
Oh, really? That much? I mean, that less?
I think 10 anyway.
Okay.
I can see that. That would make sense, and they're going to make that back with both of them, because they're doing combos as well to take pictures with both ladies. So they're making money, and it looks like they are gone from WWE if they're taking this booking here. But in place of that, they made more round of tryouts in Nashville for WWE during SummerSlam weekend. The panel of stars and management to see the recruits was Triple H, Nick Khan, Big E, Paul Heyman, The Miz, Becky Lynch, and Seth Rollins. Also, Dwight Howard could be heading to a square circle near you.
Great.
The Los Angeles Laker star showed up on stage at the tryouts this week, as seen by reporter Arash Makarzi. Howard cut a few promos over the course of 2 days of tryouts. Another notable name was the nephew of NFL Hall of Famer Troy Polamalu. Taliti Polamalu, according to TMZ Sports, is trying out for the company at this week's tryouts as well. Krssi, you're not for Dwight Howard, WWE superstar?
Absolutely not. No way. Please don't do it.
Hey,
we have enough. We have enough. Okay. Now you want to just make any and everybody just show up because they have this big ass name. Like, no, we don't need these people for them to help wrestling. We don't. We really don't.
I think it hurts it.
Thank you, Dutch. See?
No,
see?
I
you
really
don't need. Let them sit in the crowd. You don't need them to be a part of a match or interfere or talk. No.
I agree.
He has enough. He could barely play basketball. You think he's gonna be in the damn? He could do much in wrestling? Get out of here with that shit.
No, is he serious, or did he just go out there for some publicity.
Well, he said that his intentions is to play in the NBA this season, but he does say that he wants to try WWE in the future.
I don't think if he wanted to play in the NBA, he would try wrestling because he'd get hurt.
Correct. Right. Thank you.
He'd hurt a hip, he'd hurt a knee, he'd hurt something. And the NBA said, if you're going to try that wrestling stuff, we're not even interested. I think he just did it for publicity. So
he got publicity, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, he got a lot on it. And talking about, we hadn't even said anything about this. Ric Flair tonight, allegedly, his last match. I read yesterday that he's been offered 10 other last matches in different places. I'm thinking, well, I'm not stupid to think that this is going to be his last match. Maybe his last match in Nashville. But I just hope he doesn't get hurt. He's going to come out there and try to be the old Rick of old, and I'm sure they will cut his participation down as much as they can. But still, what if he gets hurt? He's 73 years old. He's had a heart attack.
He's got a pacemaker in his heart.
Yeah, and I'm saying one bad move, he could die. I don't know.
We're going to talk about that. Just a couple of more news notes here. WWE PW Insider reports that there were indeed plans for Edge and Beth Phoenix to appear on the Madison Square Garden show that Krssi was at, but then Vince McMahon retired. It was said that the plans changed shortly after McMahon's exit from the company. Their original plans also called for the two to appear during SummerSlam weekend, but it's unknown if that's still going to happen as well. In AEW news, in an interview with Absolute Geek during San Diego Comic-Con, CM Punk gave his thoughts on the news that Vince McMahon announced his retirement and why he believes McMahon isn't really done. He said on why nothing will change now that Vince McMahon is retired. He said, and I quote, "You think because he tweeted that I'm retired that he's not going to be hands-on, he's not going to run the show? Right. Sure, we all are hopeful of a change, but I don't think the structure there, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think the culture there changes at all. I think it is what it is." On how WWE reacted to Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out, he said, and I quote, "I'll put it to you like this. People are going to be really fucking mad about this, but fuck it. Mercedes and Trinity leave, and they announce on SmackDown that, gosh darn, we're so disappointed in them. They really let our fans down." Brock splits and comes back, obviously. I think he worked the show, but where was Michael Cole saying, man, Brock Lesnar really let these fans down? I walked out, they went on TV, and they called me a quitter. What's changed? What's the difference? You're going to attack these two poor fucking women because they kind of had enough and walked. They got bigger balls than everybody there. So what's changed, you know? There's nothing much that's changed. There are people that talk about it, and there's people that do it. The people who lick the boots and have the audacity to go on live television and say that about those two women, they're fucking cowards and bootlickers. That's shit. It's ridiculous. Why didn't they do it for Brock? They did it for me, you know. I don't know. It's none of my business. Dutch, what's your reaction to CM Punk?
After he says all that, but it's none of my business. Why did if it's none of his business, why did he do a 2-minute rebuttal? And first of all, they didn't say that Brock has let fans down because they weren't sure of what he had done. That's for one reason. And to me, Brock Lesnar is a much bigger star than CM Punk ever was. They pushed him for 15 years or whatever. And we get it, CM. We get it, Phil. You hate WWE. We got it. So
that's such a strong word, though.
And he
does kind of.
But I think he can make the wrestling sheets by saying that. But they may believe it, or again, why even say stuff like that? He's trying to say now they're sexist because they didn't say it they said it about the two women or whatever he said. they kind of abused them, but they didn't abuse Brock.
Right.
I don't know. I think I've heard this misogynist and all this other stuff and these phobic issues a little bit too long to involve them in wrestling now.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is, and you either accept it. It worked. It was a lot of things. What am I going to do about it?
Yep.
I just don't try to be that myself and continue onward. I had a family to feed, so I put it behind me and trudged on.
Smart move. AEW has officially announced a Trios Championship, the first champions for which will be determined at All Out. It was announced on Wednesday's Fight for the Fallen episode of Dynamite that the Trios Championships will be determined in a tournament that will culminate at the September 4th pay-per-view. The tournament details have not yet been revealed. AEW has been teasing the idea of Trios Championships for some time, and it was reported in May that the titles had been created. In more interesting news, speaking about All Out, NXT and AEW could be going head to head for the first time in over a year. As a new report says, NXT's next pay-per-view will be held on the same day as All Out. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reports that the NXT next pay-per-view will take place on December 4th on Peacock, the same day as All Out is set to take place in Chicago. WWE has yet to announce the event, but if the report holds true, this would be the first night both NXT and AEW broadcast on the same day since the so-called Wednesday Night Wars ended with NXT moving to Tuesday nights back in April of 2021. Krssi Luv, what do you think about the idea of NXT running a show? And do you think that now that Triple H is back in power, he's going to be looking for revenge for Tony Khan for what happened in the Wednesday Night Wars and doing more to kind of go against AEW?
If it's this 2.0 shit, they need to wrap it up and go home. Wrap it up and go home. Don't even dare. Don't bring this 2.0 shit to. Nope, you're gonna lose. You're losing now. Don't do it. You've been warned. Don't do it. Maybe Triple H can try to do something, but it has to be like a clean sweep. Bring back the black and gold because this 2.0 shit ain't gonna win. It ain't gonna work. Sorry. Braun Breaker ain't the one that can bring the people back to the forum. Nope. Sorry. He ain't it. He definitely ain't it. Maybe Carmelo Hayes, but it ain't Braun. Whatever that boy name is. Not him. Sorry, not sorry.
Do you see some more head-to-head between WWE and AEW now that Triple H is in control, Dutch?
I have no idea. I mean, that's their business. And I'm going to be like CM Punk. If it's not my business, why am I saying anything about it? And if they want to run head up. But didn't you say NXT was going to be on Peacock with a pay-per-view?
Yeah, on the same day as the AEW pay-per-view.
Well, they're just hurting each other, really.
Right, it's really hurting each other. And guess who was going to watch more? The other one.
Guess what?
Probably AEW.
Yep.
None of them.
I'm picking
either one. I'll be right in the middle because I'm gonna watch neither one. Hey, Mr. Sid, my battery is dying, buddy.
All right, let me get to the end here then. So yes, Ric Flair. We'll go right to the predictions then. Ric Flair's last match is on Sunday, Dutch. It's got a few interesting matches on the card. I know you wanted to talk about it. What's your opinion of Ric Flair's last match in general?
Well, I just kind of gave it just a few moments ago. I hope it is his last match if he's advertising it that. But I think they did a beautiful job in promoting it. They picked the greatest night of the year to have it. If it rains, it doesn't matter because they're under a roof.
Mm-hmm. And
it is a good card. It is a great card. If I looked at that card and I said, damn, this is really a good lineup. And so I just hope Flair doesn't get hurt. Nobody gets hurt. I mean, that would really throw a damper on it.
Yeah.
But tonight in Nashville is a restart of WWE under the new regime. Then you have StarCast, and it's a great night for wrestling in Nashville, Tennessee. I wish I was there, but I'm not. So, but I don't know about what kind of finish they're going to do with Flair. I think they're going to have to hold his participation down. I mean, he'll be in there. You know, I hope Flair doesn't think this is damn Greensboro, 1985, and he goes.
Let's hope not.
And he goes has a heart attack. So, but they did a great job promoting it. I wish them luck.
Yes, I'll run down the card. We'll do predictions over on patreon.com/True Hill Heat for this, as well as the New Japan show that's going to be starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. But you got the Bunkhouse Battle Royal on this Ric Flair last match card. Laredo Kid, Bandito, Taurus, and Ray Phoenix in a 4-way from AAA. New Japan Pro Wrestling will be represented with Clark Connors versus Ren Narita. You got the Briscoes versus the Von Erichs. You get Killer Cross versus Davey Boy Smith Jr., the American Wolves versus the Motor City Machine Guns in a Dream Tag Team matchup. For the Impact Knockouts Championship, Jordan Grace will defend against Deonna Purrazzo and Rachel Ellering. For the Impact World Championship, it's going to be Josh Alexander versus Jacob Fatu. And of course, the main event, Ric Flair's last match as he teams up with his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo, versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Ric Flair has to win this one, though. Yeah, what do you think, Krssi?
He would. It would be stupid for you to make a whole big production for you to just lose.
Indeed. Dutch, you agree? Ric Flair is gonna win.
He'll go over. So he'll go over. He'll beat Lethal because it's Jeff Jarrett's hometown, and
that's true. That's true.
I didn't even think about that.
He'll beat him, and Andrade, they'll beat the shit out of him.
He'll make the hot tag to Rick.
They'll give him the hot hand, and
you're gonna say, Andrade's gonna get all the beating up first. Yes, he's definitely going to.
Chop, woo, and he'll walk around, and like he'd walk around, and all of a sudden go, whoop, grab his heart. God,
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Even say that. So, but I don't know. But good card. I wish I was there to see it.
All right, and I'll run through quickly the SummerSlam card. Logan Paul will go one-on-one with The Miz. Of course, these two teamed up at WrestleMania. The Miz turned on Logan Paul. Logan Paul is now officially signed with WWE. I got Logan Paul winning. Who do you got, Dutch?
I got Miz winning.
Nice.
Who you got, Krssi?
I would love The Miz to win, but I think Paul is going to win.
Another star coming into WWE.
He'll probably win, yeah.
Another star coming into WWE is Pat McAfee. He's going to have another match at a major show as he goes against his former Indianapolis Colts teammate, Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin attacked him at Money in the Bank, attacked him last night on SmackDown. I got McAfee winning this one. Who you got, Dutch?
Yep, same deal.
McAfee.
Unanimous. No disqualification tag team matchup. It's the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day. Mysterios won on Monday on Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary. The Judgment Day jumped him backstage with Rhea Ripley returning. Who do you got in this one, Dutch?
Mysterios.
Krssi?
I got Judgment Day.
I got the Judgment Day winning and then Edge returning after the match to confront his former stable. United States Championship matchup. Bobby Lashley will defend against the youngest Mr. Money in the Bank in history, Theory. I got Bobby Lashley winning this one. Krssi?
Bobby, for sure.
Dutch?
DQ.
Ooh, okay.
Who wins by DQ?
Could be a double DQ.
Oh, he's like no one wins.
That's what I'm fight outside of the ring or something, you know. I think two of those they're too valuable. I don't think Theory needs to, and I think if you beat Theory, you're kind of cutting the horse's bridle off. So double. Then you can say,
yeah.
Okay.
Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships is up for grabs. Special guest referee Jeff Jarrett in his hometown is going to be the Usos defending against the Street Profits. They had a hell of a match at Money in the Bank, but Montez Ford had his shoulder up on the final pin. That's why we have the special guest referee here. Dutch, who's goes out with the gold?
I think the Profits do.
Ooh.
I got to agree with Dutch. I think new champions, Street Profits. Krssi?
What?
They have had it for 42 years.
They had it for one full year.
Well, a year, that's way too long. I'm saying the Profits win it.
I agree with Dutch.
With a little help from Jeff.
I would love the Profits to win. I just don't see it happening. I don't know. I'm going Usos.
So we got a difference of opinion there. We'll see with this one. Raw Women's Championship up for grabs. Bianca Belair will versus Becky Lynch. Of course, 1 year ago, Becky Lynch returned, beat Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. Bianca got her revenge at WrestleMania by defeating Becky Lynch in a fantastic matchup. Who wins here 1 year later? Becky versus Bianca. Krssi?
Bianca for the win, friend. She has to win. I hope she beats her in like 20 seconds.
Dutch?
I think it wins, but I think it'll be a match. It won't be a short-lived.
Okay.
It won't be a short match. Not that short anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to make it unanimous and go with Bianca Belair. I want 13 seconds, half the time that Becky beat her. And then after the match, Becky's complaining.
Yep.
Becky's complaining, talking about she's the longest champion in history, longest Raw champion, longest SmackDown champion, and then the real longest reigning SmackDown champion comes out, Bayley, and we start Bayley versus Becky at SummerSlam. Yes. SmackDown Women's Championship up for grabs is going to be Liv Morgan defending against Ronda Rousey. Of course, Liv Morgan won the title at Money in the Bank when she cashed in on Ronda. Ronda's looking for revenge here. Who do you got, Dutch?
That's a tough one there.
Yep.
I think I would go with Liv in this one. I think Ronda, I don't know. She's never done anything for me anyway.
Same.
Preaching to the choir with Krssi.
Yeah, well. Who do you think?
Krssi?
I would love Liv to win, but I don't see Ronda losing back to back, if that makes sense. I mean, has it happened before?
Brock did it.
No.
No?
That's true. Brock has. Brock has done it, right. But Ronda hasn't yet. So should see. I'm gonna go with Liv as well, because I believe that they're gonna protect Ronda by having Charlotte return to cost Ronda the match.
Oh, okay. So then, Liv across the board, friends.
Yes. Oh, and good shout by Thomas for the Ric Flair's last match. Clark Connors is not going to be in that match. He's been replaced because he is injured. Good shout there. Had to highlight that comment there. And then finally, the main event of SummerSlam. Last match, last man standing for the undisputed WWE Universal title. It is Roman Reigns defending against Brock Lesnar. Dutch, is this the last match, and who wins?
Well, this is what you have wrestling for, because you got both sides saying Brock could win it, but I don't think he's going to win it. This is Brock's last match. The only thing to protect Brock is maybe the last man standing. I think they both may come to their feet, and then I think Roman beats him up by a count. They got that, and then they both collapse. Then the question is, who's coming in? Is Theory coming in? Because that means more than the match, I think.
Yeah. Right.
They have built that up more to see if he's coming. That's why I'm thinking, if somehow Rollins ends up with that Money in the Bank thing, I think people would perk up. I think if Theory comes in on his own, people kind of expecting that. But they don't expect Rollins coming with it, which is a far-fetched idea. I got it. But I think they would pop more to Rollins coming than Theory coming. That's what I'm saying. I think Roman Reigns, and I think, because that can't be a finish, but I don't see what Theory would do when he got in there. I mean, I think if he beat Brock, it's not believable. I mean, beats Roman, it's not believable.
I agree. I think that if Theory cashes in, he's not going to do it successfully. I think there's an option for WWE to do the double count out for both of these guys with Roman and Brock. Like they do some big, the ring explodes type of thing, and both guys are down, and then Theory thinks he has the advantage, and then he takes a spear and Roman wins. I could see that more than Theory cashing in, but I do think that they're going to beat the hell out of each other, and Roman Reigns wins this one.
Wins.
Who you got,
Absolutely.
Krssi?
I'm going Roman all the way for sure.
So we seem to be all in agreement. We're going to see some type of Theory involvement, some type of big schmoz here, but Roman Reigns will walk out with all the gold. So that is the SummerSlam preview, and that is tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You could join us here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for our watch along, hosted by Romeo. So join us live here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for that. Dutch Mantell, thank you so much for joining us, being an excellent special guest as per usual.
Thank you.
We
so
love
much.
having Uncle Dutch on the show. Please let the people know where they can find you, sir.
Just email me at dirtydutchmantell with 2 L's at gmail.com. I have a new website opening up, dirtydutchmantell.com. Not ready yet, but you can catch me over there. And on Twitter, I'm Dirty D Mantell. You can catch me there, and on my website you can see wherever I am. I can't remember all these things. I can't get verified on Twitter because you're being a bunch of buttholes. So, but I'm not the only one that's had.
Who? But I thought kids used that.
Being a bunch of buttholes.
Being a bunch of buttholes. Yeah.
Krssi Luv, let the people know where they can find you.
Lovely people, you can find me every Saturday here at 11:05 on our flagship show of True Hill Heat with my good brothers. Other than that, you can find me on Sundays with my tag team partner, Stephanie Hypes. We do Serving Face and Hill. For join us for that, but we won't be on for tomorrow doing the roundtable for SummerSlam. On Friday, going blue with Steve Falls and we watch Godforsaken SmackDown. I've had the last two, nights, weeks off. Steve he had 6. So other than that, you can find me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. It's Krssi Luv _1. Twitter is True Hill Krssi Luv, and that's it.
Yes, and Krssi will be live with me tomorrow, as well as Stephanie Hypes. It's like Serving Face and Heel meets True Hill Heat for our SummerSlam roundtable review. So join us live at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time for that. While you're waiting for SummerSlam, check out the preview show that I did yesterday with Kenny Bolin, where we broke down the card a little bit more in depth. Tomorrow, 6:05 p.m. Eastern time, you got Ric Flair's last match. Watch along. Romeo will be hosting that. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. You can follow the gang Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. I'll be doing a True Hill Heat 186 post show that's going to be up later today over there ahead of SummerSlam, and ProWrestlingTees.com/True Hills. And of course, with the Patreon.com tonight, SummerSlam is the final event, a part of our first annual prediction championship. So if you're a Patreon backer, definitely send in your last predictions. And then the new season starts tomorrow with Ric Flair's last match. So I had to note that right there. So thank you so much, Dutch. Dutch, you are on our Mount Rushmore of special guests. We greatly appreciate you coming on, and you're always welcome back to talk about wrestling and anything you want. And it's not Sports Keto, so you can curse here and be the Uncle Dutch that we all know and love.
Well, I appreciate that. I try not to curse too much because I'm trying to cut down. If you get a habit of doing that, you can't talk without it. So I try not to too much.
Kind of true. You're right.
It is true.
Women present or kids, I just try not to do it. So, because that's just showing respect.
Yep, you're right.
So, I can cuss here. I don't give a shit. See what I mean?
There he is for Dutch Mantell.
Okay, man.
For Rick Ucchino, for Miss Krssi Luv, it is me, the new media Forbidden Door, SP3. This has been True Hill Heat 186, a whole new world. We will see you later tonight for SummerSlam, and we are signing off until next time.
Laters.